CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. If your game is suspense, mystery, we play it here. Join us. There are those who hold that marriages are made in heaven. There are also those who insist that marriages are consummated in hell. People marry for love, for convenience, for money, and now and then they may even marry for murder.
Alaric, come in.
Thank you.
Well, good friend, what brings you here?
I owe you an explanation.
Well, why do you look so troubled?
I've been lying awake nights, wondering how to say it.
Well, why don't we have some wine? That'll loosen your tongue.
Oh, thank you, Carol, but I've come to a conclusion that there is no way to say it. There are no words to express it.
Well, then how...
It's something that has to be done, and then it speaks for itself. And so, I've come here to do it.
Alaric, have you gone mad?
This explains everything. Our mystery drama, The Precious Killer, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Beatrice Straight and Arnold Moss. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Sign-Off, the sinus medicines. I'll be back shortly with Act One. There can be no peace, no truce, no ceasefire in the eternal war between good and evil. Who's ahead? It's hard to say. It appears that evil wins most of the battles, while good winds up winning most of the wars. Or is it the other way around? The problem is, we have angels and devils on both sides. The name of the country is Rurania. It is located in Middle Europe. It is an absolute dictatorship. The time is the present. Talking about time, anyone can be arrested at any time. The police just come around and kick in the door.
Shut up. Who are you?
Get out of bed.
Alaric. Alaric, it's me, Carol.
Get dressed.
Are you mad, Alaric? This is me, Carol.
Let's go.
Why? Why am I being arrested?
We don't have all night.
Why am I being arrested? I demand an answer.
Answer him, Benish.
You have no right. You have no right to...
He doesn't understand, Benish. Answer him again. That will do, Benish. I think he's getting the idea.
God! I'm coming. Now, what's all this noise, Your Honor? Do you know who I am? I believe I do. There's been a mistake. Why have I been arrested? Because you committed a crime against the Republic. No. I did no such thing. Oh, but you did. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But I am innocent. What crime did I commit? I'm sure you know. But I don't. You know who I am. Oh, yes. Your Honor is Professor Carol Vortick. That's right. I'm a hero of the Republic, a chief of scientific research. I demand to see the First Minister. He would never come here. Oh, yes, he will. I'm first scientist of the Republic. I have the same rank. Have him sent for. At once. No, Your Honor. You just get some rest. Wait. You're wearing the silver medal of the 1st of August. You're a veteran of the August Brigade. Oh, yes. My brigade. Oh, well, I remember, Your Honor. I recognize you. You're... No, don't tell me. You are... Rykov, first gunner in the 3rd Company. Yes, Your Honor. And you were a fine young officer. You were the best, the August Brigade. We made the revolution. That we did, Your Honor. Rykov, why am I here? Why? Now, Your Honor, no point in fighting it. He'll tell you soon enough. But when? I've been here 6 days. I've seen no one. I'm losing my mind. Oh, you mustn't do that, Your Honor. My wife? But what about my wife? She must have come home from rehearsals, and I was missing. Oh, yes, your wife. I've seen her so many times. The greatest actress in the world. When she came home, I was gone. Without a word, without a clue. What can she be thinking? I'm sure by now she knows where you are. I demand to see the First Minister. You mustn't yell like that. You mustn't. There's nobody listening.
Where did you hide it, Carol?
Hide what? I don't know what you're talking about. What am I supposed to have done?
Where did you hide the platinum?
The platinum?
You supervise all the precious metals used for experiments. Where did you hide the platinum?
Well, it's in the laboratory, in a safe, where it belongs.
It's gone.
No.
Only you knew the combination.
But I didn't. I wouldn't. Well, what would I do with all that platinum?
You planned to leave the country.
Oh, no, that's a lie.
Is it? Were you not going to attend the International Metallurgical Convention in London?
Well, yes, but that's not leaving the country. I had permission to go. Everybody knew. Well, you knew. We talked about it.
And once in London, you would ask the British for asylum?
Oh, no, never. This is my country.
And with platinum worth almost $1 million, you could start a brand new life for yourself.
Never.
Where did you hide the platinum?
I swear
How did you propose to smuggle it out of the country?
Alaric, you're talking to me, to Carol. I am your best friend.
Where did you hide the platinum?
Will you get it through your head that I never had any...
Finish. And now we shall begin all over again. Where is the platinum?
I didn't steal anything. It's a mistake. It's all a mistake. Who is that? Who is that? It's just me, Your Honor. Rykov. Old Rykov. Machine Gunner Rykov. 3rd Company, August Brigade, huh? Report. Machine Gunner Rykov. Your Honor. The ammunition hasn't arrived. Your Honor, wait. We'll attack just before midnight. Listen to me. good, honest Rykov, the best gunner sergeant a lieutenant ever had. Wake up, Your Honor. Wake up. They can't. They can't tear a man loose from his home, his wife, his work, without warning, for no reason. They want to see you. They can't destroy... They want what? They want to see you. Who wants to see me? The High Commissioner. Why? I don't know why.
Carol, look at me. You know who I am?
Yes.
Can you think clearly? Here, drink this.
No. I don't want anything from you, Hal.
Oh, now relax. It's all over.
What's over?
This ghastly mistake.
Mistake?
Yes, mistake. That's all it was.
And what now? Do we just shake hands, you and I, and that's to be the end of it?
Yes, Carol. That must be the end of it.
Oh, no. Oh, no, not for me.
But what is your complaint?
What is my complaint?
What law was violated? Well?
What law?
The law of the overwhelming right of the people.
Alaric, I don't want to argue. I only say there was no need to treat me like...
The law states the people must be protected from the insidious henchmen of imperialism and treason. The people must always use overwhelming force. The people must strike first and fast to obtain the confession from the guilty.
I don't care about...
First, last, and always, the law must protect the people, not the person. You wrote that sentence, Carol.
Please. I'm tired. I can't think.
Don't do that, Carol. Don't play the martyr with me. I suffered as much as you did. I could have sloughed off my responsibility. I could have given a subordinate the job. Instead, I did it myself.
May I ask why I was arrested and what was the mistake?
We received a tip that the platinum was missing. We had to suspect you, naturally. And then about an hour ago, your assistant, Trestov, was picked up about 300 miles from here, at the border.
Trestov? Oh, that's impossible.
He was driving a van.
No, not Trestov.
The platinum was in it. So you see...
Oh, yes. Yes, I do see. Well, and now...
Trestov has been shot. Justice was done. And now you're free.
Free?
Free to go back to your wife, your work, your home.
As if nothing had happened.
Of course, my friend. It was all for the good of the people. Now we must shake hands and redouble our efforts to preserve our glorious revolution. Shall we?
Yes, Alaric. Certainly. Now, I am even more determined than ever to preserve our glorious revolution.
Well, you live your life happily, productively, convinced of the correctness of your beliefs. Suddenly, the firm ground beneath your feet turns to quicksand, and you are sucked into a horrible pit which shows you your world from the underside. Can you believe again? Can you behave as if nothing happened? I'll return shortly with Act 2. psychic, is one of the world's leading metallurgical scientists. He is also a hero of the People's Republic of Rurania. At this point, he is a somewhat bruised and battered hero because he has been in prison, and no one has ever confused the central prison of the People's Republic with a country club. However, it was all a mistake, and it has been sorted out and set to rights, and Carol has been returned to his job, his luxurious home, and his beautiful wife.
Katerina.
Darling, I woke you. And I did try so hard to walk in quietly.
No. I've been up a while.
Oh, that's not good. You should be sleeping. The doctor said you need rest, lots of rest.
How did it go at the theater?
Oh, I missed you. When I can't see you in your seat just before I make my entrance, I don't care.
I heard the review on the radio. It was a triumph.
It would have been a greater triumph if you'd been there.
The reviewer said, Katerina makes a stunning return to the theater, completely recovered from her illness. The divine Katerina proved, if proof were needed, why she is the first actress of the Republic.
Recovered from what illness? Oh, well, I can't expect them to say I refuse to act and protest against your arrest.
You shouldn't have done it, Katerina. You should have fulfilled your responsibilities to the people.
Carol, I believe you're serious. You still prattle this nonsense, these incredible fairy tales about the people. And after what just happened? What beautiful flowers. Who sent them?
They arrived just after you left for the theater. They're from Alaric.
From whom?
Alaric. And on the card he writes, to the hero of the revolution.
Don't you ever mention the name of that monster in my presence. That evil beast, a fiend. He turns on you like some vicious serpent, and in return you bow, you scrape, you kiss his hand.
Katie, please.
The foul smell from these stupid flowers will not poison the air of my bedroom.
Don't, Katie, don't.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carol. I was just so lonely and miserable without you, so frightened. And that horrible Ulrich, posing as our best friend.
He is our best friend, darling.
Don't you say that after what he's done.
Well, what has he done? His duty as a citizen?
Oh, Carol, darling.
My oldest, my closest friend. We saved each other's lives. We were like brothers. And what hasn't he done for you, Kate?
I don't want to talk about Ulrich.
But we must. He can, with a blink of an eye, purge himself of all humanity, all emotions. Oh, Katerina, I've seen now. I know so little.
No! You're the most brilliant person in the whole country.
No, only when it comes to ideas. You know what? When I was very young, there was this idea of the people's sacred freedom. And I fought for that idea.
Darling, you're an immortal hero of the Republic.
And when I became an engineer, I was involved with things, but I never learned about people until just now. Human beings, suffering, pain, doubt, terror.
Oh, and now you must forget what happened.
No, because if I do, I will have learned nothing. Now, you were right all the time. You're an actress. You know people.
Carol, you look so tired.
This government, this life we lead here... I don't... It's all a nightmare.
Carol, please. You can be arrested for this.
You were right. You were right all along.
You'll feel better in the morning.
I'll never feel better until I breathe free air, live among free people.
Carol! Do you know what you're saying?
Yes. Darling, could you go?
Oh, I can't wait to leave this dreary dungeon, to act on a free stage.
It might not work.
I don't care.
We could be arrested.
I don't care.
Even shot.
I don't care. When?
In 3 weeks, we'll go to London for the scientific convention.
You can go, but can I get permission?
I have an idea. You You can arrange a tour. Take all your wardrobe, your costume.
Will they let me?
We need hard currency. People all over the world will pay to see you. You're one of Rorania's greatest natural resources.
Yes, but I've never been permitted to make a tour before.
There shouldn't be any problem. You know who can fix everything.
Oh, don't tell me.
Of course.
Oh, that's the cream of the jest. Ulrich. Oh, that will be sweet, sweet revenge. Little heart, you will never break again. What you do now will be remembered. You will die, but you will not be. You will live forever in the soul of the people. No, I'm not up to it. I want to go to my dressing room. Thank you. Excuse me, please. Excuse me.
Hello, darling.
Alric.
You love me.
Do you have to ask?
Well, how did your husband, the first scientist of the Republic, respond?
It worked. You were right. You were so right. Poor Carol, he's really too much. A true patriot. You couldn't say a word against his precious People's Republic.
Well, some acquire wisdom through the brain. Some must learn through the body.
And you really worked him over.
Oh, no, not really.
Well, he's ready to defect.
That is only the first half, my dearest. After all, we will need the money to live comfortably in England.
Yes, but that's going to be a problem. He is very, very ethical, as you well know.
My darling, I'm not going to starve in the West because Carol is ethical.
Won't they like you in the West? You chose freedom, didn't you? Somebody will give you a good job.
Oh, they're bored with people like me. Besides, Rorania is too small a country. Half the world never even heard of us.
The money will be difficult.
Darling, the plan calls for him to become angry enough to defect, and then to steal the platinum in order to take it with him. And finally, for us...
Don't say kill him.
Render him inoperative.
I like that better.
Can you convince him to steal the platinum?
Listen, I can convince him to steal anything.
Let us drink to that.
Irina!
Yes, madam.
Is there champagne?
Yes, madam. The master sent you a bottle.
The master? Now, Citizen Irina, we don't use the word master anymore. It's an insult to the free citizens.
Yes, Your Excellency.
I give up.
Please serve the champagne.
Yes, madam.
Irina, you will have all my costumes neatly hung away in the portable wardrobe chest. I'm going to London.
Yes, madam.
That will be all.
It seems to me we may have been a little bit too demonstrative in front of her.
Oh, she's a stupid woman. She doesn't think about anything except finding a boyfriend.
Oh, really? I would think she's too old for that.
A woman is never too old.
The problem is, I wish we could tell him somehow that all he has to do is put the platinum in the van and drive across the border. I would see to it that no guard stops him.
No. There's no way we can tell him that without making him suspect.
Very well, let him have fun, conjuring up some brilliant plan in that scientific brain of his.
Yes, but how? How do we plan to get rid of him?
Oh, quickly, painlessly. After all, we're very old friends.
No, we're not going.
What?
I changed my mind.
Why?
But because it's the cowardly thing to do.
I don't understand.
This government is a crime against the human race, and I am part of that crime. I fought to create it, to support it. I am responsible.
You say you're responsible? Now, what does that mean? What will you do here now?
Refuse to work?
Will you be thrown in jail?
I'm not afraid.
But what good will that do?
Oh, I don't know. I wish I could fight them.
Well, you can.
No, Katie. They have the army, the police. I've been talking like a fool. But that's because I've been a fool all my life.
But you can fight, darling. You can fight them from London or New York or Paris or from anywhere in the free world.
Who would listen to me?
Everyone. You could publish a newspaper.
And that takes money.
But you have money.
I do.
Well, you could have money. The platinum. In your lab.
The platinum? The platinum belongs to the people.
Carol, you must not react without thinking. The platinum belongs to the oppressors of the people.
Oh, wait. Oh, this is irony. I'd been accused falsely of stealing the platinum, and now...
Of course.
We must get it out of the country. How?
Well,
How?
Sometimes the simplest plan is the best. We could just try to drive it past the border in a car. Well, hide it in the sleeping bags and the camping gear, as if we were going on a trip.
No. That would never work. You can't get anything past our border guards.
Yes, it was just an idea.
Besides, we have to fly out of here. I'm going to a convention, and you're going on a tour. Now, let me apply some scientific thinking to this. How can I get that platinum out? Oh, no. No, I don't believe it.
You don't believe what?
What just flashed in my brain? It's so simple, so ridiculously easy. And it's absolutely foolproof.
What is?
This plan, this idea.
Tell me.
No, darling. You're too important.
Well, if I'm so important, shouldn't I know?
No. Because if you knew, you might unconsciously give it away. Its success depends on your not knowing until exactly the right moment.
Now you know why he's first scientist of the People's Republic. Give him a problem that concerns things, and he can solve it while you wait. It would be better if he were that knowledgeable about people, especially his wife and his best friend. But I guess you can't have everything. However, you can have Act 3 in just a few moments.
This is WBBM Chicago News Radio 78. It's 11:05.
The problem. How do you smuggle a fortune in platinum past suspicious border guards? I imagine any of us would find this a formidable difficulty. However, Carol Vortic takes it all in stride. Carol Vortic is an eminent scientist. It's a pity he doesn't know more about people, especially about the people he loves.
Darling, you mean you won't tell me how we're going to get the platinum out?
Oh, I will, dear. Just as soon as we've done it.
Yes, but...
This is for your protection,
But
Katie.
I should know.
No. If you knew, it would make you nervous. And without intending to, you might betray yourself.
Oh, darling, I've never seen you so excited.
It's a challenge. You know me and challenges.
I'll leave you now.
Katie, darling, am I doing the right thing?
Of course we are.
Is it right for me to go into exile?
How can you even ask?
Just look at the poor, plain people, the ones who can't leave.
Angel, there's a basic unfairness to life, and one must live with it. The alternative is madness.
Yeah, but I love this country. How can I live in exile, never to hear this language, breathe this air?
You'll be working for freedom.
Yes. Well, I must get to work.
Hello?
Darling,
Yes, Katie.
I told you I could do anything with him. He's agreed.
I don't believe we need to be specific on the telephone. The answer, I assume, is positive?
Yes. As the Americans would say, we are go.
Your tour is also go.
Oh, marvelous.
How soon can you be ready to leave?
I only have to pack my clothes and my wardrobe, and you?
I'll have to burn a few bridges behind me before we meet again.
And,
Carol, he happens to be one of the bridges.
oh.
I love you, Katie.
Oh, Professor, you frightened me.
I'm sorry, Irina.
What are you doing here, sir?
What am I doing here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have no right to ask. After all, Madam is your wife, and I guess you have every right to be in her dressing room.
But it does seem odd to you that I'm here long after the theater has closed.
Oh, well, it is not my place to ask.
Well, I came here just to get some of Madame's things.
Oh, sir, you do not have to explain. You probably wonder why I'm here at this hour.
No, as a matter of fact, it didn't occur to me.
I sleep here, in the dressing room. Apartments are scarce and so expensive. I don't know what I'll do when Madame leaves. I won't have a job.
Oh, I'm sure she'll give you a handsome gift.
But she hasn't said anything about that.
Perhaps it just slipped her mind. Here, let me.
Oh, no, sir. I couldn't.
It's not really very much money.
Oh, it is, sir. For someone like me, it's a fortune.
Take it.
Oh, God bless you. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. Don't be angry.
I'm not angry.
Oh, sir, you're a saint.
Huh?
Oh, I shouldn't have said that either.
Good night, Irina.
Well, what kept you?
Can't you hear, Alric, darling? They wouldn't let me leave the stage. 7 curtain calls.
You better go back and take another bow.
My final performance in Rouen.
How do you feel?
Wonderful. Oh, wonderful, darling. Everything's packed.
Everything?
I didn't know I had so many gowns, so many costumes. But it's all put together. And tomorrow morning, it all goes with me on the plane.
And, the platinum?
He says I'm not to know till I arrive in London. And then he'll tell me. Do you think he's already managed to get it out of the country?
Well, I don't see how. He's been watched too closely.
I thought for a moment that he would try to hide it in my baggage, but that would be ridiculous. He knows it will be thoroughly searched.
No. I'm sure he has a plan. And I'm sure it will work.
Well, he says he'll tell me as soon as I arrive in London.
And then you must tell me, and I'll...
Yes, I know. Love me?
Katie, my darling, I've always loved you. That's why I made you first actress of Little Public. Come here.
Madam. Oh, excuse me.
How dare you come in without knocking?
I'm sorry.
Get out of here. Get your coat and hat and get out of here. And never come into this theater
But,
again.
Madam,
Get out!
Just a moment. What is your name?
Irina, Your Excellency.
Irina what?
Irina Rulin, sir.
Do you know who I am?
Oh, yes. Your Excellency, yes.
If you should even whisper about what you saw here to any living soul, you will disappear. You understand, Irina?
Yes, Your Excellency.
Now you may leave.
Yes, Your Excellency.
I shouldn't have lost my temper. All she has to do is to tell Carol.
Is there a danger that she may?
Oh, I don't think so.
Because she could have an unfortunate accident in the next 15 minutes.
Oh, no. She'll never breathe a word. Actually, it's that stupidity of hers that gets me so irritated. Peasant.
But why do we have to talk about her?
Indeed. Come here.
I won't see you for a few weeks. What am I going to do without you? Like dirt they treat us.
Dear, do you have any money left, sweetheart?
I've got money.
Waiter, some wine, cheese. What would you like, sweetheart?
We're human, too. Now, I remember before the revolution you got treated like dirt. Is it any better now?
No, honey. What's your name again?
Irina Rulin. What's yours?
Everyone calls me Rykov.
Rykov? Rykov, I've got a problem.
Why shouldn't you have a problem? You're a member of the human race, aren't you?
He's a saint, and she's a devil.
Who? Who's the devil?
The great Katarina.
Oh, I love that woman.
She's a devil. But Master Carol, her husband, he's a saint.
His Honor, Carol Vortic. Oh, they come no better. What an officer he was. Let me tell you about the time we were surrounded.
She is cheating on him
She's what?
with his best friend.
Isn't that always the way?
Now, I don't know. Should I tell him? Now, you're a man. What do you think?
No, that requires a bit of thought.
He's so good to me. And she treated me like dirt. What should I do, Rykov?
As an old soldier, let me tell you that you cannot make an important decision on an empty stomach. Waiter, some chicken, dumplings, boiled beef, potatoes. Hello?
Darling?
Katie, darling. You arrived safely.
Yes, dearest. I'm in London. I'm breathing the free air of London.
Oh, how wonderful.
It's a bit smoggy, but it's free. Now, darling, can you talk to me?
About what?
You know about what?
Certainly, sure.
Where is it?
In London.
Oh, marvelous. Oh, darling, you did it.
No, darling. You did it.
Me? I don't understand.
Precious, it's so simple.
Tell me.
See if you can figure it out.
Angel, I don't like riddles.
I'm taking a plane to London tomorrow. See if you can guess it by then.
Give me a hint.
Well, it arrived in London when you did.
And?
And that's all. Now see if you can have the answer for me when I get there tomorrow. Darling, I have some loose ends to tie together. I love you. Goodbye.
Carol.
Hello?
Ulrich, my darling.
Dearest, you're in London.
Yes,
And, the material?
it's here. It's here in London.
Ah, good. I'll leave tonight.
Ulrich,
Hello? Hello? Katie? Katie? Operator. Listen, I've been cut off. I was on the line to London.
Yes, sir.
Well, don't just say yes, sir. Do something.
I'm sorry, sir. We're having trouble with the London circuit.
This is a call of vital importance to the government.
Yes, sir, but we're still having trouble.
Oh. Doesn't matter. It's arrived. It's there. And now to burn the final bridge.
Alaric.
May I come in?
Why?
I have something to say to you. We'll never see each other again.
What makes you say that?
You're going away. You won't return.
Are you sure?
I've come here to make sure.
What are you saying, Alaric?
I wondered... I stayed awake nights wondering how to say it. And the truth is, there's nothing to be said. No point to any conversation. You simply do what must be done.
Alaric.
This is what must be done. Quickly, efficiently, and finally.
Alaric, don't...
Not that it means anything, not that it helps, but believe me, Carol, believe me, I'm sorry.
Are we doing the right thing, Mykoff? Are you sure it's the right thing?
He should be told.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to know. Did you ever think of that? See? He isn't home. There's no one here. Let's go.
Wait. The door's open, you see.
Well, we can't just walk into...
I smell something.
What?
I'm an old soldier. I know that smell.
What is it?
Death.
Death? Saints preserve us. Are you a conjurer? How can you smell death?
You fool, I smell powder, gunpowder. Someone has fired a shot in here. Come on in.
I'm afraid. Oh! Look! On the floor.
Your Honor. Your Honor. Irina, call a doctor.
No. Is that you, Rykov?
The machine gunner Rykov reporting for duty, sir.
I'm dying, Rykov.
Oh, no, sir, not you.
Listen to me. It's for the best. I would have died anyhow, away from our country, our language, our people.
Sir, try to save your strength.
I'm staying with you, with all those who believed in me, with all those who must stay and fight and suffer, who can't leave. I'm staying, Rykov. I'm staying.
Yes, sir.
Rykov, the good Lord must have sent you. Please get a message to my wife in London. Tell her that the coat hangers, the clothes hangers, the wire clothes hangers, that's how... Well, they're made of... I made them out of... Well, that's how she carried it. That's...
Your Honor.
The man. Delirious, crazy.
What was he saying about coat hangers?
Well, what's the difference? He was raving.
He wanted us to tell his wife something.
What?
I don't know. He said, get a message to my wife, and then he started raving about wire coat hangers.
Well, I'm sure that's not what he wanted us to tell her.
I guess not. She'd think we're crazy.
Well, I wouldn't tell that evil woman anything anyhow.
He was a good man. Let's pray for his soul.
I don't know.
Katie, think.
Oh, maybe he was playing a joke.
What did he say exactly?
He said the platinum is here.
And he said you should be able to figure it out. Well,
Don't you dare, you vicious animal.
think. Where is it?
I don't know. I don't care. I wish I would.
We'll both be soon enough. We'll die of hunger.
Oh, why did I ever leave home? I can't get a job in this terrible country. I audition, they laugh at me. Why don't you work?
At what? Washing dishes?
What else are you good for?
Why don't you sell your costumes, your wardrobe?
Oh, they laugh at that.
Well, take them to a second-hand store, to the flea market. Anywhere. Maybe we can raise enough to buy dinner.
Oh, why did we ever leave Urania?
Because... Oh, what's the use? Get those clothes out of the wardrobe chest. No. Leave them hanging the way they are. Maybe we can get a few extra pennies for the wire hangers, too.
Maybe. Well, if you're ever in London and in some old clothes shop or a flea market and you see some threadbare theatrical costumes, check out the hangers. The ordinary, everyday wire hangers. Who knows? Those humble hangers may be constructed of the purest platinum. Who knows? I know I shall return in a few moments.
You're on the open road, rolling free and feeling great about your new Buick Century. Because in published EPA mileage test results, a V6 Buick Century got the best highway mileage of any U.S. midsize car. 24 miles per gallon and 16 in the city. This Century's comfortable, it's nimble, it's economical, and above all, it's a Buick. Living free.
The blue whale is the biggest animal that ever lived. Bigger than 2 dinosaurs, heavier than 25 elephants. Today it's nearly extinct after years of relentless commercial hunting. Now other whales are in danger. For what? Some rare vitamin, some precious serum? No. For margarine, pet food, shoe polish. What a way to go. Help save the whales we have left. Write National Audubon Society, 953rd Avenue, New York, New York. Precious metal. How men sell body and soul for it. Betray, kill, no holds barred. And yet, isn't it all a state of mind? Somewhere in the city of London, or who knows where by now, is a quantity of coat hangers made of platinum. To look, you would think, just ordinary wire. And why not? They do the job. A humble job, it's true, so why should anyone look twice? You should always look twice. Our cast included Beatrice Straight, Arnold Moss, Ralph Bell, Ann Petoniak, and Dan Acco. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
These documents show that Rasputin has sold millions of rubles worth of medical supplies to Germany, a country which is waging war against us. As payment, Rasputin has been given shares in the Süddeutsche munitions factory, as well as shares in Taunus Manufacturing and Copernicus Industries in Bavaria. Your Highness perhaps knows of these companies?
Little father, tell Colonel Amdor what you have told the Tsar and me.
Madame, it will make no difference to him.
Tell him.
It is a prophecy, Colonel, and it is this. If I die at the hands of the nobility or members of the court, the Tsar and the Tsarina will lose their crown and their son within 6 months of my death.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by imported Vigna Rosé wine. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
WBBM Chicago, News Radio 78. The correct time, 11:25.
Our man in... And now, Mystery Theater.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall.
And we're doing business as usual, featuring our full assortment of the mysterious and the bizarre. Quis custodiet ipsos custodes? Who shall guard the guards? Or, to take it a step higher, who shall judge the judges? This was a problem that plagued the ancient Romans, and obviously it remains with us to this very day. And actually, the act of judging is a highly hazardous affair, because the book warns us, judge not, lest ye be judged. And so, between the necessity to judge and the admonition not to do it, we human beings are in a constant state of doubt, which is not the worst thing in the world.
Hold! Hold on there.
What you want?
What are you doing with that pistol?
That's hardly your affair, Mr. Lincoln.
A man prowling about at night holding a loaded pistol is certainly an object of curiosity.
Only to those that don't mind their own affairs.
I consider the safety of the community to be very much my affair, Mr. Barnes. You'll oblige me by handing over that pistol.
And you'll oblige me by going about your own business, Mr. Lincoln.
I'm afraid I'll have to take that pistol.
I'd advise you not to try it.
Hand it over, sir.
I warn you, not another step.
Our mystery drama, It's Murder, Mr. Lincoln, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Keir DeLay. When conditions are bad, we Americans always spend a great deal of energy not in finding a solution to the problem, but rather in deciding what to call it. Is it a depression? Is it a recession? Back in 1837, they called it a panic. So you see, we have made progress. 1837 was certainly a year to tighten one's belt. Definitely, it was not a favorable year to embark upon a new career. And a young man named Abraham Lincoln is discovering this the hard way. He has just settled in Springfield, Illinois, where he has opened a law office. Abe Lincoln sits in his law office and waits for clients. This afternoon, as usual, he is sitting and waiting. And although he is completely unaware of it, a case is being created for him just down the street in Fellman's Tavern.
Now, what I want to know is, what's the point in having Martin Van Buren sitting in the White House? Why, we might just as well have Andy Jackson.
Oh, well, Tom, Andy's old and sick. Why, he's half dead.
Well, better an Andy Jackson who's half than a Martin Van Buren who's all alive. Yes, that's a good one, huh?
Yeah, he sure is.
I have to remember that one.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. You want to hear a good one, sir? I was just saying to this gentleman here, Mr. Ephraim Barnes, I was saying, better a half Jackson than an all-alive Van Buren. Isn't that what I said, Ephraim?
Something like that.
Are you Tom Feldman?
Yeah, in the flesh.
I'd like a room.
Costs you $1.
All right.
In advance. Owe no man anything, as it says in Corinthians. Or is it, Acts?
Well, here's your $1.
Thank you. Drink?
Oh, no, not for me, thanks.
Well, comes with the price of the room.
I never drink while there's work to be done.
Huh? Well, what's your name, stranger? You know mine. I'm Tom Feldman, and this gentleman here is Ephraim Barnes. He runs a bank.
Ah, glad to meet you, Mr.
Jones? Franklin Jones.
What's your business, Mr. Jones? I assure you, the First National Farmers and Merchants Bank of Springfield is very much at your service.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Barnes. I'll keep that in mind. Could either of you gentlemen tell me where I might find a Mr. Cyrus Darrow?
Cy Darrow? Why, he's got a farm. Big place it is, too, just north of here. Now, you just follow the road right out of town.
We inquire your business with Mr. Darrow, sir?
Well, that depends on Mr. Darrow.
Well, that's playing the cards close to the vest, huh? Bread eaten in secret is the sweetest, as it says in Proverbs. Or is that Leviticus?
There's nothing secret about my business with Mr. Darrow. He swindled me out of some money. Now he's either going to pay it back or
Well, I intend to blow his head off.
Now, Mr. Jones, there's no need for that. If you have proof, you can take him to court.
Well, I don't have proof, so I'll just have to do it my way. I've come here to get what's mine by rights, and I have the instrument with which to secure it.
Well, that's a wicked-looking weapon you got there, sir.
I fought in Florida in the Seminole War. This pistol was first and last fired in the service of my country. I earned the right to use it in my own behalf.
Now, sir, you cannot flout the law.
Yes, indeedy. The law is sitting right here by your side. In me, you see the sheriff, and Mr. Barnes is the judge for this term.
Well, gentlemen, all I can say is that if a man don't get no justice, he will have to make his own. My room, sir?
Up the stairs. First door to your right. Supper's at 5 o'clock.
That young fellow bears a bit of watching.
Yeah. I pity him if he goes up against old man Darrell. Cyrus will just chew him up and spit him out.
Wicked-looking pistol, that.
You know, I'm not a wagering man, Ephraim, but if I was, I'd lay my money on Cyrus Darrell. Poor fella. Seems kind of young to die after surviving an Indian war and all.
Who the devil's name's out there this time of night? What's your business with me? Go on home. Got a bone to pick with Cyrus Darrow? You come round in the daylight time, like honest, respectable folk. All right. Don't bust her down. I'm coming. Oh, well, so it's you, eh? Come whining around to see if I'll leave you off the hook, eh? Well, you can hang there and squirm till I'm good and ready to... You think that pistol can scare me, eh? You ain't man enough to... come on now. Hand it over before I make you chew it up. You yellow-bellied... What? Who's there?
The sheriff.
Sheriff?
That's right. Open up in the name of the law.
All right. Oh, hi, Mr. Feldman. Oh, Mr. Feldman, the tavern keeper.
No, sir. It's Mr. Feldman, the sheriff. You'll have to come along with me, son.
What for?
What for? Mr. Jones, it looks like you did what you came here to do.
What's that?
Kill Cyrus Darrow.
Killed Cyrus Darrow, but I didn't.
You, son. Big hole in his forehead caused by the forcible entry of a pistol ball.
There must be some mistake.
No, sir. There's no mistake. This your pistol?
Of course it's my
It
pistol.
was found 50 yards away from Cyrus's house.
No, you couldn't have found it 50 yards away because...
Because?
Well, it can't be my pistol. I remember I put it back in my bag.
Yes?
Yeah. Hey, it isn't here.
Of course not. How could it be in that bag and in my hand at one and the same time?
I didn't...
Mr. Jones, as sheriff of Springfield County, I hereby arrest you for the murder of Cyrus Darrow.
What?
And may the Lord have mercy on your soul.
What are you saying?
Well, that's right. I shouldn't say that just yet. After all, you ain't been tried. But you'll get a fair trial before they hang you.
I don't know what to say, Franklin. I don't know what to say.
I didn't kill him, Emily. I didn't.
Franklin, everyone says...
I don't care what everyone says. You just got to believe in me.
Why did you have to come here with a pistol? Why did you have to threaten him in public?
Why? Because I'm stupid, that's why.
Oh, Franklin, I'm sorry.
I guess I really am in the soup this time.
This man, Cyrus Darrow, was very well liked. And the evidence against you, it's so strong.
Evidence? What evidence?
What evidence? Oh, Franklin, your threats to kill him, the pistol.
I swear to you, Em.
I believe you, darling. But there's gonna be a trial.
Well, I'll make them believe me. I'll make everyone believe me.
You'll need a lawyer.
Yeah, well, I'll hire a lawyer.
And
what is it, dear?
a lawyer...
Yeah, well, that's just what I said, my darling. I'll hire a lawyer.
Dear, there are no lawyers.
No lawyers here in Springfield, the state capital? Well, in a place like this, there are nothing but lawyers.
I've been asking around, and I've gotten answers. One fella says, "Sorry, ma'am, I just couldn't take on another case." And meanwhile, he's got his feet on the desk, and I can see the holes in his shoes. And then another fella says, "I never did try a murder case."
What is it?
There isn't nobody in this town doing 15 cents worth of business, and they say, each of them say to me, "Sorry, Miss Jones, I just can't see my way clear."
Well, why won't they take my case?
Well,
Is it because they don't think they can win? Emily, that should make no difference. Law says every man's entitled to a lawyer.
I know. But what the law really means, every man's entitled to a lawyer provided he can get one.
Yes, ma'am?
Are you Judge Barnes?
Well, here in the bank this week, I'm Mr. Barnes. I don't start being Judge Barnes till next week. Now, whom do I have the pleasure of addressing?
My name is Jones. Emily Jones. Mrs. Franklin Jones.
Oh?
Judge, my husband can't find himself a lawyer.
Surely, Miss Barnes, in all of Springfield, there must be somebody who
don't mind ruining his reputation?
Now, Miss Barnes, lawyers don't see things that way at all.
Then how does it happen no lawyer's willing to defend my husband?
Well, it's a busy time.
How busy? Look at your bank. Ain't a soul in here except you and me.
Yeah, well...
Well, what, sir? People going broke left and right, nothing being brought in or sold, no contracts to draw up. What are all these lawyers doing?
Well, I'm sure if you look around...
I looked everywhere. And everybody's turned me down.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Have you spoken to a man named Lincoln? Abe Lincoln?
Abe Lincoln? No, the names ain't familiar.
Well, I should give Abe a try. He's the kind of lawyer take any case he can get.
Well, I must say, Judge, that don't sound like a very enthusiastic recommendation.
Well, ma'am, it's the only recommendation I can give you.
Yes, ma'am?
Will you please tell Mr. Abe Lincoln I'm here?
There's no need to do that, ma'am. You've already done so.
You? You're Abe Lincoln?
The plea is guilty, ma'am. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of...
But you don't...
I know, I don't look like a lawyer. Well, the fact is, I don't look very much of anything else either.
Well,
Won't you have a seat, ma'am? Now,
my name is Emily Jones. My husband, Franklin...
Was he named after Ben Franklin?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
The great man.
Yes, sir. He, my husband, is going to be tried for murder.
Yes, I know.
And I need a lawyer.
Well, you've come to the right place.
You mean you're willing to defend him?
I'm ready, ma'am.
Well, that may be, but I've got to ask you about your qualifications. How many murder cases have you tried?
How many? To be exact, ma'am, none.
None?
Miss Jones, a fella has to start someplace.
Well, but not with my husband.
Well, I do have one qualification. Matter of fact, it could turn out to be the most important qualification of all.
What's that?
I'm the only lawyer in town willing to take the case.
Didn't Longfellow say, "Lives of great men all remind us we can make our own sublime, and departing, leave behind us footprints on the sands of time"? Yes, he did. However, what we should realize about the lives of great men is the fact that most of them weren't always great. Can you imagine being unhappy to have Abraham Lincoln as your lawyer? I'll return shortly with Act Two. is Franklin Jones. Right now, he is in the jailhouse in Springfield, Illinois, in the early autumn of the year 1837. He's accused of murder. His prospects are bleak. The betting is better than 10-1. He'll feel a rope around his neck before the month is out. The odds have not been lowered by the fact that his lawyer is a young man named Abe Lincoln.
And who was in the tavern when you came in?
Mr. Fellman, Mr. Barnes.
No one else?
No, no one else. I asked if they knew where I could find Mr. Cyrus Darrow, and they asked why, and I told them.
Couldn't you tell them that it was your own affair?
Well, I didn't.
Oh, you always have to be bragging about something, no matter how many times I tell them.
Please, Emily. Mr. Lincoln here ain't interested in our personal business.
Oh, but I am.
You are? Why?
Because you never can tell what might be important.
All that's important is to keep the rope away from Franklin's neck.
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do, Miss Jones. Now, Frank, you came here night before last from Valley Junction.
That's right. We just started farming.
Miss Jones, I'd appreciate it if we'd let Frank answer.
Well, I can give you the facts fast and clear.
I know, ma'am, but, well, Frank's going to need practice. He'll be the one that has to answer at the trial. So, Frank, you came here the other night. You engaged a room. You stated your business to Mr. Fellman and to Mr. Barnes.
Like a fool.
Yes, sir, that's right.
And you showed them the pistol. Why?
Well, the pistol was a present to my dad from General William Henry Harrison. Dad was with Harrison at the Tippecanoe.
You see? He wanted to brag about it.
Mr. Fellman and Mr. Barnes, well, they weren't easy fellas to talk to. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean, Frank.
So I just went upstairs to my room and I went to bed, figuring I'd see Cyrus Darrow first thing in the morning.
And,
well, the next thing I knew, there was a knock on the door, and it's the sheriff. I'm being arrested for murder.
And at no time during the night did you arise from your bed and go forth to Mr. Darrow's place and shoot him?
I did not shoot him. I was asleep in my room.
Well, we have to make that defense stand up.
You sound like you don't believe him.
Oh, I believe him. I'm not the problem. We've got a judge and a jury to consider. Now, Frank, the pistol, where was it?
In my bag.
You placed it in the bag before you went to sleep?
Yes, sir.
Well, how did it get to where it was found? In the field, 50 yards from Mr. Darrow's door?
I don't know.
Well, the prosecution will say that you went there, shot Cy Darrow, fled from the scene, and in your guilty terror and confusion, you dropped the gun.
Well, I couldn't have dropped the gun when I wasn't even carrying it to start with. I wasn't there.
Well, then we must claim that someone came into this room while you were asleep and stole that pistol.
Yeah, well, that's the only way it could have happened.
You, were conscious of no one?
Oh, I was asleep.
Tell me this. What was your business with Mr. Darrow?
Why do you want to know?
Frank?
Is that important?
It's the first question the prosecutor will ask. I should know.
Oh, all that was before he was killed.
Frank?
Well, I enlisted in 1829.
1830.
Oh, 18, yeah, that's right. And I served in Georgia and Florida. And when I wanted to marry Emily, well, you don't get married on sergeant's pay.
Oh, not to me, you don't.
Anyway, there was this fella in the company, first platoon he was, a funny little fella, fat and baldy, you know, but smart. He was a Frenchman or a German or something like that. He spoke funny. You know, the Army's full of all kinds of foreigners. Well, they had to run here because they're having all kinds of revolutions in Europe.
Will you get to the point? Now, why should Mr. Lincoln care beans about them revolutions in Europe?
Yeah, well, his name was Fuller, and he knew all about plants and flowers, you know, and he said, Jonesy, some of these varieties could grow very well up north if...
Yeah? If what?
Yeah, well, I never did find out. You see, he and I were going into business, and we collected boxes and boxes of various seeds, and we was going to sell them to farmers up this way, where I was well known. That is, I knew some people.
And since Cyrus Darrow was one of the biggest farmers in this parts, well, we wrote to him, and he wrote back offering to buy a special kind of feed grass.
Yeah, we sent him $30 worth, and he never did pay up.
So we wrote and we asked him for our money.
And he sent back an answer saying he'd be hanged if he'd pay a cent for some sticky Georgia thistles.
What was that man talking about anyway?
Well, I don't know. I could have made a mistake and not cleaned out the seed like Fuller said you had to do. Well, He invited me to come up and look at his brand new thistle patch, and also given the opportunity to wring my neck at one and the same time.
And I said, Frank, you go up there and you get your money. Well, did I know he was going to take a gun?
And at no time, then, did you visit Darrow's farm?
No, sir, he did not. He was nowhere near that place.
Frank?
No, sir.
As far as you know, it could, that is, the seed you sold him could very well have been thistle, or burrs, or whatever.
Well, supposing they was. What does this have to do with the killing of Cyrus Darrow?
You weren't up there, Frank?
Well, I said I wasn't.
Well, I'd better be getting along.
Where are you off to?
I think I'll ride up to Darrow Farm.
Whatever for?
I might learn something.
What's to learn? The man's been murdered. We know that.
Well, I might find some evidence.
What kind?
I have no idea, but I have to look.
You mean you're going to look for something and you don't know what?
Yes, I suppose you could put it that way. What was that, Miss Jones?
Nothing. Just,
Hello, Abe.
How are you, Tom?
Hi.
Sit down.
Doing anything?
Well, I'm about to take a run up to Darrow Farm. Maybe some evidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Evidence. Evidence of things not seen, as it says in Leviticus.
Hebrews.
Yeah. Leaving soon?
Well, I'd like to get back before supper.
You've taken the Jones case.
Yep. I was retained this morning.
Well, Abe, you think that's wise?
Wise? I'm a lawyer.
Well, you have to think of your career. You know, you gotta lose that case. It's plain as a cabbage on a rose bush. The boy's guilty.
Isn't that why we're having a trial?
Oh, we're having a trial because the law says he's got to get one. But you know what the verdict's going to be.
Tom, I'm surprised at you.
No, Abe. You're the surprised one. Now, look, you can't win. If you lose, you look bad because you're a loser. And if by some miracle... Yeah, you could have a miracle, because as Milton says, the age of miracles is forever here.
That was Carlyle.
Carlyle. Well, anyhow, if by a miracle you win, well, folks will resent it.
Why?
Well, the boy's so obviously guilty, people want him to hang. Look, Abe, I'm thinking of your future.
My future?
Yeah, you could have a great future in politics. I've seen you operate. Why was you single-handed got the state capital to move up here from Vandalia?
Oh, no, that's not really true.
It is. Now, Abe, you could go far.
Oh, no, not me.
No, why do you say no?
Well, I just don't look like a politician.
Well, there's no special way a politician's supposed to look.
That isn't so. He's got to look kind of solidly dignified, like Daniel Webster, or sharp and smart like Clay or Calhoun, or shrewd like Tom Benton, or even jolly like Steve Douglas, but he can't afford to be funny looking like me.
Well, I wouldn't say he was all that funny looking, eh?
I'm too tall, too thin, and I'm too bony and gawky.
But you got all the brains.
Well, brains alone was never enough.
Abe, is there some way you could get out of trying this case? No, I mean it for your own good. Cy Darrow was well liked.
I wouldn't get out even if I could, Tom.
Cy was very well liked, and folks are mad. You think about that.
Well, there's nothing to think about.
Well, just thought I'd paint you a picture. After all, as William Shakespeare said, forewarned is forearmed.
No, that was Miguel Cervantes.
Wow. Hello there, Abe.
Good day, Mr. Bennett.
What brings you out here, Abe?
Oh, I thought I'd come out here and look.
For what?
Oh, for anything I could find. I saw someone moving around in the house. Turns out to be you.
Well, I was his lawyer. I'm just getting his papers put together. Well, come in. Look around, if you like.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Right here in the doorway is where he fell. I found the body, in the morning. I'd come by to go over some contracts. There he was.
You going through his papers?
I'm trying to.
Mm-hmm. Anything missing?
Well, Abe, either stuff is missing or he hid him away somewhere.
What do you mean?
I mean, he didn't tell his lawyer everything. No client ever does. You're going to find that out.
Well, what would seem to be missing?
I haven't had a chance to go through it all, but I know for a fact he's been lending out money all over town. The way things are with the banks and all, he was the only one with hard cash.
Yes, I heard. Well, you could say there were plenty of folks who might have had a motive, Mr. Bennett.
Yeah, you could say that, Abe. But I think your man's going to pay the bill.
But he told me he never even came up here.
Now, I know, Abe. But when you've had as many clients as I have, you learn how easily they can lie to you.
It's hard to believe this boy isn't telling me the truth.
Yeah, that's what makes it so dang difficult. Maybe he thinks he's telling you the truth. Abe, you're in trouble on this case. Admit it.
I never denied it.
Let's step outside, Abe.
What for?
We might find a way out of this problem. Now, Abe, yeah, just off to your left, leading to the road, there's a full acre, and it's planted in what?
Now, hold on, Mr. Bennett. That's a wild field.
No, that's a planted field, Abe.
But who'd want to plant all those weeds and burrs and thistles?
They come from the seeds my client bought from your client.
That's hard to believe. Why?
Let's say your client's a sharper, or he made an honest mistake. Don't matter. But he made my client mad. My old Si was ready to kill that boy on sight. Get my point?
Mr. Bennett, I think I do.
Now, taking it straight from there, you begin to see a new line of approach in the case.
Mr. Bennett, let me tell you, sir, I am eternally in your debt. To think, I had just considered this case was hopeless.
Abe, when everything looks hopeless, that's the time you really start to hope.
And, of course, that was a lesson that Abe Lincoln never forgot. Certainly in the years to come, he would be faced with more apparently hopeless situations than almost any other president. But our concern is with the case in hand. And what is the light that has suddenly dawned? Well, that will all be made visible when I return in just a few moments with Act 3. It is always surprising to consider that what we call psychology is a science of recent vintage. We speak so easily of things like the split personality, the other self, the protective falsehood, without realizing that these terms would be unintelligible to people who lived even 100 years ago. But although our forebears did not know these things intellectually, they could understand their implications. After all, Sigmund Freud was only 10 years old when Abe Lincoln died, yet Lincoln already sensed a great deal of what Freud was to discover.
No, Mr. Lincoln, he don't lie to me. That's one thing he don't do. He don't lie to me.
Emily, maybe he has no choice.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe he's afraid he'd lose you if you knew he was a murderer. What would you do if he confessed?
What would I do?
Would you leave him?
Well,
You see?
Oh, I'd raise up a storm, I guess. I'd holler and rip, but afterward, well, I'd stand by him.
Well, then you must convince him of that.
But will it save him?
At least it's a defense. I could plead it. This way, all I'm doing is begging the mercy of the court.
But will it work?
Self-defense always gives a man a chance.
How much of a chance?
Well, I'm a lawyer, Emily. I'm not a prophet, but we can get witnesses to prove that Si Darrow was furious with Franklin.
But why?
Because Franklin had sold him nothing but weeds.
How do you know?
I was up there, Emily. I saw them. A strange kind of growth for this part of the country. Brambles and burrs and weeds.
It really wasn't Frank's fault, Mr. Lincoln. He just doesn't know.
But Cyrus Darrow was boiling mad. Now, oddly enough, this could create some sympathy for Franklin.
How? They'll all think Frank was a swindler.
Well, maybe not a swindler, more of a sharper.
Oh, what's the difference?
Well, Emily, you have to know these old horse traders up here. They might even admire him.
Why?
Because he's done something nobody else was ever able to bring off.
What's that?
He got the better of Cy Darrow in the deal. He went up to Seaside to brazen it out, being careful, of course, to bring his pistol. The fact that the pistol was given to him by General Harrison won't hurt either.
Well, then, you think we've got a chance?
Yes, Emily, I would say, what with one thing and another, we've got a fighting chance.
No!
No? What do you mean, no?
You heard, Emily. I said no.
What Mr. Lincoln just explained.
I know what Mr. Lincoln just explained.
Don't you understand? If you don't plead self-defense, you're sure to hang.
Well, I ain't gonna do it.
Why?
I told you once. I told you 1,000 times. I wasn't there.
What, Frank?
I didn't kill him.
I give up. What can you do with him, Mr. Lincoln?
Mr. Lincoln, would you want me to get up there on that stand and tell a lie?
Is it a lie, Franklin? You mean you didn't kill Cy Darrow in self-defense?
Huh. Here's a hole to be in. A man's wife won't believe him. His lawyer won't believe him.
Frank, we only
Franklin, I can only plead the defense my client gives me. Since I wasn't at the scene of the crime when the murder took place, I don't know what happened.
Well, I don't know neither. I wasn't there myself. I was asleep in bed in my room at Feldman's Tavern.
But, Franklin, nobody's going to believe that.
Well, ain't that what I got a lawyer for, so he can make folks believe me? Or is this case too tough for you, Mr. Lincoln?
Well, it's tough enough.
Hey, did you find anything up there at Darrow's place?
How'd you know I was up there?
Well, look at your pants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, them little burrs. Almost too small to see, unless you're looking for them. Yes, sir, you'll be picking them off your pants legs for weeks.
I thought I'd gotten rid of most of them.
No, sir, they're hidden where you can't even see them. And some of the seeds, why, they'll even germinate on the clothes, seems like. You better boil those pants.
Well, thank you.
I guess Darrow was right, Emily. We did sell him weeds. I didn't mean to, Mr. Lincoln. It's just that Corporal Fulda would have known what to do. He said you had to wash the seed in something called alkali. I don't even know what it is.
What are you going to do now, Mr. Lincoln?
Tell me, who else was in the tavern when you came in?
Well, I told you, just Mr. Feldman and Mr. Barnes.
Nobody else?
No, sir.
You positive?
I'll swear to it.
Well, do you know anyone in the town?
No, sir. Not a single solitary soul.
Why do you ask?
Well, Emily, it's about time I started asking questions.
But you've been asking questions all along.
No, not the right questions, and I haven't been asking the right people either.
Well, Abe, I can only tell you the boy insists on having a rope put around his neck.
Well, he refuses to plead self-defense.
In my opinion, he'd rather die having his wife think he's not a murderer.
I believe him.
It can be a dangerous business when you start believing clients.
It can even be a more dangerous business when you don't.
What can I do for you, Abe?
You've been through all the size papers yet?
All I was able to turn up.
Would either Tom Feldman or Ephraim Barnes have owed him money?
Well, now, Abe, this is a lawyer-client relationship. You asking me to break it?
Well, the client is Mr. Bennett. And I'm not asking out of idle curiosity.
Yes, he did have a mortgage on Feldman's.
I thought Tom Feldman owned the place free and clear. It's been a moneymaker for years.
Don't you know there's been a panic on him? There ain't a nickel's worth of cash to be had.
Well, why would Tom Feldman go to Cy Darrow when he could get money at bank rates from his good friend Ephraim Barnes?
Banks don't have it either, Abe.
Did you find any papers for either Tom or Ephraim?
What are you trying to say, Abe?
I'm just asking, Mr. Bennett.
To answer your question, no. There was no papers for either one of them.
And yet, they both owed him money.
I'm reasonably sure of it, Abe.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bennett. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Well, Abe.
Afternoon, Abe.
Have a drink. How's the law business coming?
Slow.
Well, slow but sure moves mighty mountains. Aristotle.
Euripides.
Abe, I swear one day I'm going to catch you.
Gentlemen, we have some business to discuss.
They discuss business at my office only.
This is legal business, Ephraim.
Then I'd rather discuss it at your office.
It has to do with the upcoming trial of Franklin Jones.
In that case, I don't discuss it at all. I'm scheduled to be presiding judge, you know.
I don't think so, Ephraim.
Well, what you saying? You can see the calendar.
I'm going to ask you to disqualify yourself, Ephraim.
What are you saying, Abe? Abe here's one of the finest...
Abe, don't you believe I'm a fair man?
It's nothing personal, Ephraim.
Well, then why...
Well, to begin with, you're a material witness.
Who is?
You are. You and Tom here. You're the only ones who heard Tom ask for the whereabouts of Cy Darrow, and who heard Tom threaten to kill him.
Yeah, well,
Well, you can't be a judge and a witness at the same time, can you?
Yeah, but you...
Besides, there's more to it than that.
What are you driving at, Abe?
Well, my client insists that he's not guilty.
Well, now, you wouldn't expect him to admit it now, would you?
Yes, if he were guilty, I would, especially since I found a way he could plead guilty and still save his neck at the same time.
What's that?
Self-defense. Old Cy was born and mad at him. Mad enough to kill him. But the boy refuses to take that defense, which proves to me that he's a young man of his word, and I have to respect that word.
Abe, if Franklin Jones didn't kill Cy Darrow, who in thunder did?
Well, we'll have to sit down, the three of us, and reason together. If Franklin didn't kill Cy, who did? We know somebody did, because Cy's dead.
I'd like you to come straight and tell me exactly what you're driving at, Abe.
Well, it couldn't be suicide. After all, how would Cy get a hold of Frank's pistol?
Well, what motive would Cy have for doing away with himself?
None. But you can't be too careful in these things. You have to explore every possibility.
But you also have to be headed someplace.
Don't be impatient, Ephraim. I am. So if it wasn't Frank, who else could it be? Who else knew Frank was in town? Who else knew Frank was mad enough to go to Cy's place with a pistol? Who else would even know that Frank had a pistol? The answer? Either one of you two.
Well, hold on there, Abe. Are you saying that Eve here, or me, could have killed Cy Darrow? Huh? Well, Abe, I am your best friend in town. How could you even think
Abe, I thought you was always a man of good sense. But this is monstrous.
Have either of you gentlemen been up to see Cy lately? Well?
I ain't been up to Cy Darrow's place since I bought a pony from him in 33... No, it was 34. Well, yeah, it's been 3 years.
Ephraim?
It's been at least a year since I had occasion to visit Cy's farm.
Where'd you transact your business?
Whatever business we would transact, we would do at the bank.
Gentlemen, one of you two is lying.
Hey, now look here.
Now, you want to be careful now, Abe. Friendship only excuses just so much.
Let me borrow that chair. Now, I'm going to put my foot up on the seat of it.
What for?
Oh, come on, let's humor him. He's mad.
You'll notice that the lower part of my trouser leg is covered with very tiny little sticky burrs.
So?
So these are typical of a growth that occurs only in northern Florida or southern Georgia. You can't find them anywhere else in the country except at Cy Darrow's farm.
Well, now, what's that got to do with the price of tea in China?
They grew from seeds sold to Darrow by mistake, by Franklin Jones.
I still don't see what you're driving at.
I was up there just before. That's how they got all over my pants leg. Now, will each of you gentlemen please place his foot up on the chair?
I'll be hanged if I do.
Is that a prophecy, Ephraim?
Eve, them little burrs, them sticky little burrs. You got them on your... Ephraim, if you wasn't up at the Darrow place, how'd them little burrs get all over your pants?
Pour me a drink, Tom.
Eve, he was always an honest man.
Yeah. For 50 years, I've been honest as the day is long. And where did it get me? I didn't speculate. I didn't hedge. I guarded my customers' money. And I got wiped out. I had to borrow from Philanderer. And he was going to take away my bank. Well, this boy came marching in here and...
And you decided to steal his pistol and kill Derry yourself.
Well, it wasn't that clear cut, you know. It just worked out. And I found my notes and destroyed them. Yours too, Tom.
Ephraim, a man like you, could you really let that boy hang for you? Could you?
Abe, I'd like to think that in the end, I wouldn't let that boy hang for me. I'd like to think that.
Would your conscience let you?
Conscience. Abe, when you face the rope, you know the saying, conscience does make cowards of us all.
Cervantes.
No, Shakespeare.
You're a good lawyer, Abe. Would you defend me?
Ephraim, you mean you want me? Why, you could have anyone, even Stephen Douglas.
No, I want you, Abe. Nobody but you.
Thank you, Ephraim. I'm grateful. I'm humbly grateful.
Well, the case went to trial with a new judge and a new defendant. And the young lawyer Abe Lincoln argued ably and well. And the result was a hung jury. But, as Abe Lincoln said afterwards, better a hung jury than a hung client. Well, you hang around. I'll be back shortly. Franklin and Emily Jones, Tom Fellman, Ephraim Barnes, they are all obscure footnotes in the book of Abraham Lincoln's life. And yet, these are some of the nameless, unknown people who helped shape his character. All around us are young men and women whom we, in our anonymous fashion, are also molding by our precept and by our example. And we are molding them into what? Think about it. Our cast included Keir DeLay, Jennifer Harmon, Paul Hecht, Joe Silver, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. All of us are selfish to some degree. We protect our own desires and dreams, but within reason. For we inhabit a world where we must make certain compromises and respect other people's feelings. We had better. For the quickest way to lose everything is to try to have everything the way we want it. For then the fates that dog all our heels have a way of catching up.
going forward. Where do I go from here?
You've lost me, Laura, and you can't have him. Only one thing to do. You're right over the canyon.
But the car. Not the car.
Nothing matters anymore now. You gambled and lost.
Our mystery drama, The Plastic Man, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Don Scardino. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act One. As I said in the beginning, this is a story of an extraordinarily selfish man, a sort of product of our times. George Hartford, who could well be named the Plastic Man. Note his action and reaction to the oldest and most productive relationship in the history of man.
Come on, Jane, knock it off. It isn't the end of the world.
Not yours, George. You've made that quite clear.
I wanted to lay it on the table. No messing around. A clean break. The least sweat.
The least sweat? Well, it's one description for the end of a love affair, I suppose.
Now, don't get me wrong, babe.
I really don't anymore. You shook me up, but you woke me up.
Now you're with it, kid. Look, if we don't swing anymore, there's no...
Oh, I love your succinct statement in mod lingo. We don't swing anymore. May I remind you that we were going to be married? I wasn't swinging with you. I thought I was building something for the future.
Okay, Jane, so it just didn't work out like that.
Someone else?
No.
You're cutting out because this was getting just a little too serious for you. It might be the end of fun and games. You were on the point of being asked to contribute something in return.
Jane, does it have to be all this much of a drag?
Oh, perish the thought. I wouldn't want to ruffle your peacock feathers for the moment. But just one comment. You are heading for a rude awakening. Someday, one of your women won't be as accommodating as I am. Stop the car.
What are you talking about? You're only halfway home.
I just discovered I'm not even that far. All I want is to get off.
George?
Hey, big bud. How's it going, Matt?
Hey, fine, just fine. Hey, what are you doing home so early? I thought you had a big, heavy date with Jane.
We split.
Split? Just like that?
Just like that.
Well, what was the quarrel?
It was getting kind of heavy, so I wanted out.
Mm-hmm. How did she take it?
Oh, you know dames. Big fuss over nothing. Got anything to eat in the joint?
Nothing but humble pie, little bud.
Huh?
A cupboard is bare, and you wouldn't eat any of it even if it was there.
So I'll settle for a beer. Then maybe I'll do a little prowling. Pick up a pizza and, who knows, maybe even something more nourishing, huh?
You know, you ought to do something about that drive. Now, one of these days, you're going to get your head caught in a ringer.
Okay, why don't you give me a reading, Shrink, huh? I'm all stretched out on the couch. How'd you like to probe my inner psyche?
You haven't got a psyche. All you've got is one large itch and no conscience.
Oh, so much for brotherly love. I can't even get a free treatment from the family psychiatrist. So, you don't want to talk to me? I'll have to...
Now, hold it, George. Matter of fact, I do want to talk to you. I'm moving out.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm that bad? You're really sore at me?
No, that's beside the point at the moment. You know, I'm a full resident now, and Fran just got a raise, so we've been looking at apartments. We figure we can go ahead now and get married.
The ball and chain, huh? It's a big step, Matt. Why rush it?
Well, I wouldn't expect you to understand, George. I want to live with Fran.
Okay, fine. But marriage? I mean, who needs it these days? Look, why tie yourself down?
I wouldn't expect you to understand that either, George.
Oh, come on, old sober sides. You just don't see where it's at. I mean, like, today is all wide open.
It doesn't work that way for everybody, George.
Okay. What's your bag is yours, and what's mine is mine.
The trouble is, gorgeous G, you keep trapping the others in it like you were a bounty hunter. It worries me.
Why?
Well, first of all, because some pretty nice girls getting roughed up by you. Jane, for one.
Oh, come on. Look, don't make me sound like a child molester. Any dame I play around with is old enough to know the score.
It's more than just a game. It's an obsession, my friend, and as a psychiatrist, I don't particularly like its implications.
Oh, brother. Here we go with the Don Juan Casanova bit again. It's basically an inferiority complex, and I'm driven to prove myself. Or else it's an Oedipus complex. Down deep in my id or whatever, I hated Pop, and I...
Yeah. It may be funny to you, but you might be surprised if you could understand how much basic truth there is in it. But that isn't the main thing.
So what is?
It's just your arrogant, selfish insensitivity. You know what you are? You're a plastic man. You haven't got one real human emotion in you, and I'm sorry for all the nice girls you've twisted up inside. Give the next one a break. Let her know about you from the start, so at least she goes into it with her eyes open.
You got the wrong idea about women, Matt. They're a hell of a lot tougher than we are.
I am not going to get trapped in an argument. I just hope you don't get trapped one of these days with one of them who won't be as obliging as they all have been up to now. Your luck can't last forever. Sooner or later, you are going to get caught in a buzzsaw. Don't say I didn't warn you.
My brother Matt was a good guy, but just a little square. And the chicks, well, you know how it is. You take them as they come. Like I say, it's a big world, and if you want to hang yourself up with one old lady permanently, that's your own business. Me, I like to hang loose. I never figured old George here would get hung up on one, and surely not the way it happened. Hi. You dropped your sun oil in the sand.
Oh, did I? You're very kind. Are you one of the staff here?
No, I'm a guest. Why?
Oh, just your... I mean, you look like one of them.
Well, thanks for the good word. These jocks that work the staff here are really built. No, I'm just taking a week off from the daily grind. And a friend said these Club Pacificos really swing. I don't know, maybe I missed the season. Till now.
What do you mean?
Well, I haven't run into you up till now. You just get here?
Why, no. We've been here a couple of days, but we drove down. We've been touring the countryside some.
Hot work this weather. Me, I'll take the water. Or a nice long drink by the pool. Huh? Hey, it's about that time. Can I buy you one?
Well, Why not? If you'll wait long enough for me to take one quick dip in the sea to wash the sand off.
She came up from that beach lounger in one long, fluid move like a cat. My breed. I watched her run down and into the water. A one-piece suit, but it didn't hide any of that figure. Long waist, long legs. The club was beginning to live up to its reputation. Her no long, right?
Right. How many beads do you want?
Hey, I said the drinks are on me.
I pay my own freight, the way we travel.
Ah, there's that we again. Roommate?
Husband.
Oh, and he lets you out without a leash?
It's a free country. He's confined to our cabin. He picked up amoebic dysentery some years ago in India. It's hell to get rid of.
India? You travel a lot?
He does. He's a parapsychologist.
I heard the word. Clue me in a little deeper.
It's the branch of psychology that deals with unexplained phenomena. Clairvoyance, ESP, mental telepathy. You had enough?
Ask a silly question, you get
A complex answer.
So no more questions, except like... Well, my name's George. George Hartford. What's yours?
You're not an insurance salesman.
No, cars. Business is a little slow right now. That's why I thought I'd catch a week off. Or was till I met... did I catch your name?
Laura Prentice. Here's looking at you.
That's fair enough. It's all I've done since I set eyes on you.
I noticed.
Listen, it's kind of hot out here in the sun. My cabin is air conditioned.
So is ours.
Well, I just meant, why disturb your husband?
Now, that is definitely not a silly question. Here.
What's this?
My beads. Buy us both another drink, George. And let's see how cool your pad really is. Why... Oh, why did I do this?
Come on, Laura. It's no crime.
I know it isn't to you. Some of us are fashioned a little differently.
Hey, that's only an illusion, baby. It's natural, and whatever is natural is right.
You wouldn't understand. It isn't morals I'm concerned with.
Well, then what?
Oh, I could never make you understand in a million years, George.
So, that's the kiss-off, huh?
It ought to be. But it's too good for me to have the strength of will to let it go that easily.
Now you're talking.
No, not here. Tomorrow, away from the club. I have my car. We'll drive somewhere for the day. I'll say I'm going shopping in Puerto Vallarta or Guadalajara. You're the lucky sinner. You don't need any excuse. I'll meet you at the parking lot after breakfast.
Oh, how do I find you?
It isn't hard. It's the only green Mercedes. And the license plate is $69.99. I wanted $7,000 for luck, but I never could swing it. Till tomorrow, if you want to risk it.
She was kind of offbeat, this chick, and married and all, so I might have passed her up. If it hadn't been for the car. I flipped when I saw it. A Mercedes 56, gull-wing coupe in British racing green, like she said. A dream classic. 0 to 60 in 9 seconds flat. Quick ratio steering, independent suspension, and handles like it's part of the road. Plus the price tag. 12 to 15 thou in mint condition. And this baby was. While I was drooling over it, my other babe, also mint condition, arrived. This yours?
A gift from my husband.
You know what you've got here?
I ought to. It's what I asked for.
I never saw a 56 in green before.
It took a little digging to find it. I wanted it to match my eyes.
Cat's eyes.
The better to see you with. You want to drive it?
Do I? Climb in, Big Mama.
You can like my car, but only if it's second, after me.
It's a tough choice, but I like your moving parts better. Okay, where to?
Straight to hell, lover. Or heaven.
I started up that dream boat, and she was heaven under my hands, just as Laura would be later. What I didn't know was that her husband was watching us, and the living hell that was in store for me.
It's hard to have much sympathy, if any, for our plastic man, George. He's an expert in taking without giving. But you may have a little sympathy soon as we watch a punishment which is infinitely more infernal than the crime. I'll be back shortly with Act 2. watched George Hartford drive that Mercedes that hugged the road, floating as though on rails and cornering to perfection, to watch his face and the fanaticism of the faddists suffusing it, was to know our plastic man had an Achilles heel. One spot where he was vulnerable, his passion for classic cars. And in Laura, he had found an unlikely companion.
It looks as if I lost you just when I found you.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe, but a car like this, man, this is far out.
I know. Why do you think I wanted it? Took 4 years of begging and other things to get it.
Greatest feeling in the world, right?
It was. Or at least a substitute
Till there was us, huh?
If I'm really included in.
Come again?
Forget it. It's our karma. Too late to offer you a way out.
Wait a minute. You lost me somewhere.
I should probably never have found you. George, there could be danger. You want to turn back?
I don't make all this. You mean your husband?
Yes.
Well, what is he? I mean, King Kong or the Godfather?
Oh, no. Horace is quite small and very mild and very rich. I'm quite willing to admit the last is what attracted me to him. I didn't know then about the other.
The other what?
How deep his interest in psychical research was. Or how powerful some of the forces involved are.
Hey, you know something, babe? You're talking kind of weird.
6 years with Horace would make any woman a little offbeat. I've been walking in a bad dream. You woke me up, love. Oh, look. There's a motel, George, or whatever you call them in old Mexico. It's too much talking that gets everybody into trouble.
Now you're talking, Laura. But making sense. It was still early in the afternoon, but something wakened me suddenly. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. Then, as my eyes focused on the bright yellow ceilings of the Casa Romantica, I realized that the whimperings were coming from the girl by my side. Hey, Laura? Laura, hey. Hey, baby.
What? Oh.
Hey.
Oh, George. Don't say anything. Just hold me. Hold me a moment.
Okay. Hey, stay loose. We didn't blow up the Capitol or anything. I mean, we're not on the wanted list.
He knows.
Who?
Horace.
Knows what?
About us.
Hon, if you got a guilty conscience...
No, this isn't conscience. It's beyond it. Let me go, George. Let me go.
Where are you going?
I just have to get up to the window and get some air.
Here. Why don't you wrap something around you?
Will that make me decent? All right. George?
What?
You're a very selfish man. I know this is just a casual affair for you that you drifted into. I suppose I shouldn't worry about you. But you asked for it. Let me say it once. I'm sorry. But it's way too late for either of us to back out. Now, let's get dressed and back to the club.
I'll say one thing for you, Laura. You do come up with the surprises. But I must say, this is one bummer of a so long, Dad.
Oh, you and I haven't finished, George. We've only begun. That's part of the karma, too.
I didn't like this whole gig. I was into something I couldn't grab. Kind of a nowhere for me, because I'm the one who usually decides where it's at. Driving to the bus stop, too, I had this crazy notion that maybe it was the Mercedes 56 I'd miss more than her. It was all mixed up. And coming home to my cabin late in the evening, just at dark, I got shook up some more.
Have a nice bus ride, Mr. Hartford.
What? Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my cabin?
I'm sorry.
I thought for me, in a sense, it was kind of a home away from home.
How'd you get in here? I locked the door.
How could you lock it against Laura's husband?
Laura? Yeah. I met her on the beach. Hi, Mr. Prentice.
Interesting to meet you, Mr. Hartford.
I guess Laura, Mrs. Prentice mentioned my name.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get you a drink?
No, thanks. Can I get you a cover-up for your embarrassment?
What?
I think we can dispense with unnecessary questions. I want you to leave my wife alone.
Now, just a minute.
I know what's happened between you and Laura, who happens to be my wife. You didn't know what you were getting into. I considered having you roughed up, but I'll let that go. Excuse me, I must leave now. I'll say goodbye. For all of us. If you have a brain in your head, Mr. Hartford, you'll echo that sentiment.
Just for curiosity's sake, with a slight flapping under my heart, I checked the following morning. The M56 was gone, and the desk clerk informed me so were the Prentices. I breathed easier, lived out my week without a pigeon worth making a pass at, and went back to my office in Los Angeles. It was nice to get back to plain living.
Hey, you look great, George. You picked up a lot of sun, huh?
That's about all that was going there, Matt. How about you? You set the wedding date?
Yep. 3 weeks from today. Can you make it?
Hey, can you see me not?
No. How could you turn down another opportunity to be best man?
Okay, work me over. I deserve it, I guess.
George, what's the matter? Don't tell me the leopard is changing his spots. You meet someone on your little cruise casing Mexican talent?
I met someone. Not Mexican. Just real offbeat. What do you think of parapsychology, Matt?
Oh, brother. I mean, in more ways than one. I have enough trouble handling my own specialty in the vagaries of the human brain, psyche, condition, however you define it. Parapsychology. That's another breed of cat.
Cat?
Huh?
Nothing. But you didn't answer.
Well, I don't know how to answer. It's a gray area. The research is too new, too limited to prove anything or mean much. Well, why?
Just an idle question.
Don't try to kid me, George. Nothing you ask is idle.
Okay. I met a dame who was hung up on this scene, and I just wondered how much there might be to it.
Well, you want my opinion? It's not too much. Now, that's in general. But specifically for you, if you're asking my advice, give her a wide berth. Your life is mixed up enough as it is without voluntarily trying to complicate it any further. Okay?
Right on.
Because no matter how much I object to your personal life, you're my brother. Means a hell of a lot to me to know you'll be standing next to me when I get married.
I'd have to be or nowhere before I missed that. The day after I had lunch with my brother Matt, she rolled into my dealer's lot. I should say they. The Mercedes 56. English green with that unforgettable license plate. And the equally unforgettable Laura behind the wheel. I had no escape. Our office building is all glass. As the lesser of two evils, I went out to meet her myself. Yes, madam? What can I do for you?
Oh, of all people. How could you ask?
Are you crazy blowing in here? Doesn't your husband know?
Horace is on the other side of the world, in India. He's gone on retreat for a month.
Whatever that means.
It means he's in transcendental meditation. You'd call it out of this world. It also means I am free.
Look, Laura, I like to swing as much as the next man, but, baby, I think we ought to drop it. That little guy scared me. And you...
Yes, and me.
You really got through. You got to me. I can't comb you out.
So climb in. This time I'll be driving, and I'll show you I can handle this baby just as well as you can.
I can't just walk out on my business like that. I'll tell you what. I'll meet you in half an hour at, say, Wilshire and Beverly, northwest corner.
That's a date. Don't you miss it.
It was a date, all right. A date with destiny. Though, how could I have known it then? I cleaned up my desk, turned the agency over to my head salesman, and drove out of the lot. I parked my heap short of Beverly and walked the rest of the way. She was waiting for me. I climbed in and we drove off for her house in Bel Air.
I warned you, Hartford, to stay away. Now you will both have to suffer the consequences.
What?
You heard him, too.
What are you talking about?
Horace, my husband. He knows about us.
You gotta be kidding. I mean, if he really is in India...
Oh, he's there. It doesn't make any difference.
Look, I don't dig any of this. It's too wide out. All I know is I'm getting out right now. I never should have climbed back in.
We're committed now.
No way, baby.
It's out of our hands. Horace doesn't want me back.
How do you know?
He's telling me right now.
From India?
I warned you were getting into something beyond your understanding.
Okay, so great. Now I'm on my way out.
You can't. This just isn't a silly girl who's trying to hang on. I told you the moment I laid eyes on you. I knew you were my karma.
Hey, what's this karma jive?
My fate. And yours. You can try. But you'll never escape me.
Don't kid yourself. I know when I've had enough. I'm blowing this scene, and this is goodbye. I lit out of there like my tail was on fire. Matt had warned me I'd get caught in a nutcracker one of these days, and this looked like one of them. And man, it was weird. When I read about the crash the next day, I felt like a real heel. But I heaved a sigh of relief just the same. I didn't have any feeling of guilt. Or did I? Why should I? If only I had known what she was thinking on that last ride, maybe... But how could I know?
There's no going back. There's no going forward. Where do I go from here?
You've lost me, Laura, and you can't have him. Only one thing to do. You're right over the canyon.
But the car... Not the car.
Nothing matters anymore now. You gambled and lost. Lost.
I read it in the morning papers. Woman plunges to fiery death off Coldwater Canyon. Both car and driver completely destroyed by fire. Police determined by one remaining license plate that the victim must have been Mrs. Laura Prentice. I felt kind of sick, but relieved. That was the end of that.
Only, as we shall discover, that was not the end of either car or driver. The world is full of George Hartfords who get away with murder in a general sense, but odds have a way of evening up, and this time George isn't going to get away with anything. I'll return shortly with Act 3. This story is a snowball, starting from microscopic beginnings, gathering momentum and mass as it rushes down the hill. The tension and terror building from nothing to a massive and inevitable crash, and, like the snowball, being fractionalized into nothing again.
It was less than a week since Laura and the Mercedes 56 had been burned to cinders. I was crossing the canyon from my pad in Van Nuys, taking Matt over to meet his bride.
What's the matter with you lately, George?
Don't worry about me. Let's concentrate on the big date, huh? How many days to the wedding, Matt?
A little over a week. Can't wait. That makes me kind of sad, little brother. I wish you could meet a girl you could settle down with.
I'm off dames for the moment. This girl Hey! What kind of crazy? It's the Mercedes, and Laura at the wheel. Look out!
What is the matter with you? You out of your mind?
I had to go off the road. Matt, that crazy broad would have rammed into us head on.
What are you talking about?
The green Mercedes that came around the bend. Didn't you see it? Or her?
Round what bend?
Coming the other way, headed towards us.
George, we haven't passed any cars coming or going in the last few minutes.
We just about rammed one going the opposite way less than a minute ago.
A green Mercedes?
Yeah, a 56, a classic. Didn't you see it?
No, I didn't, because it wasn't there.
I tell you, plain as day. It was broad daylight. I saw it. And her. I tell you.
A green Mercedes with a girl named Laura at the wheel.
Yes.
Yeah, the same girl. And the same car you say you read about in the paper a few days ago, who went up in flames.
That must have been some coincidence, some mistake. I don't know.
Well, we're going to check it out, George. Now, you said the police found a license plate.
Yes, but they didn't give the numbers in the paper.
Yeah, but if it should be 6999, you'd have to agree with me there wasn't any car today that you had to avoid, right?
But I saw it.
What you saw could have been a hallucination. Now, we better pin it down right now.
I could have told Matt what he'd find out. I knew it even before he checked with the police. I knew the plate number would be 6999, and I knew something else. It didn't matter what he found out. I hadn't seen the last of the green Mercedes 56 or the girl who drove it, nor alive. I took a fast powder and went out to get loaded.
The name's Ginny. Ginny Blake.
Oh, George here. George Hartford.
So, now we're bosom buddies. Buy me a drink?
Sure. What's your poison?
You'll laugh.
I could use one.
A horse's neck. Plain soda, anything soft. Funny, huh?
No, except why would you... Well, what are you wasting your time on a guy like me for?
I don't know. I come here sometimes, and either I'm too shy to say hello to anyone, or I don't like the guys who try to turn me on. I'm lonely. That's why I come.
You really want that drink?
No. I'm up to here already.
So am I. How'd you like to drive me home, Ginny? And then I'll give you car fare back to your pair.
Oh, when do I leave from my place?
Right after you drop me at my door. I'm not looking to make out tonight.
That's a new line. Could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Come on. I'll take a chance. You don't seem all that loaded to me.
I'm not. I've got other problems.
You got a habit?
No, nothing like that. I got a bigger monkey on my back.
You're kind of screwed up, George, and I'm sorry for you. I'd honestly like to help, if I could.
Well, I don't think anyone can. I guess I went out and bought my own private set. Look out!
What is it?
Can't you see it? The Mercedes headed straight for us.
Let go of the wheel.
No, you've got to get out of the way. Didn't you see the car? It went right through us. As if we weren't there.
What car? There wasn't any car. Boy, are you on some trip. Boy, George, I had it with you. There's a bus stop here. I can find my own way home. You don't need company. What you need is a head doctor.
I don't know how long I lay parked there. I'd closed my eyes. Maybe I went to sleep. But all of a sudden I realized that the Mercedes had driven up alongside of me, and Laura was leaning towards me to talk.
Come on, George. I've been looking for you. Let's go.
No, I can't. I'm not ready.
Sooner or later. Why not now? I'm waiting for you. How long do I have to wait?
My car was still running. I threw her into first and cut out sharp into traffic. The hood of my car, bumper, all the way to the windshield, cut through the Mercedes like it was drawn in midair, or just wasn't there at all. I don't remember how I got home or to bed. I only know that with the help of 5 or 6 black coffees, I found myself able to face my brother Matt the next morning.
So you proved it to yourself. The car, the woman, was a hallucination.
No, she was there. I heard her speak twice now.
George, I checked out the license plate with a friend at police headquarters. There's no doubt that she crashed in that car.
Then why do I keep seeing her and hearing her?
Well, it's a fixation, guilt reflex.
So get rid of it for me. Well, that's your job, isn't it?
No, sir, that's your job, if you can.
I can't.
Well, possibly, certainly not alone. You gotta have help, George.
That's what I'm asking you for.
Oh, no, not me.
My own brother? Am I that much of a heel to you?
That is not the point. I just started my residency in psychiatry. You're way beyond me, George.
Well, then give me a man to go to. Some doctor who can handle me. She was always there, trailing me in the M56, not 15 feet behind me. But that wasn't the worst part. Through the car, I could see the line of traffic stretching behind her, with sometimes a car coming up behind and cutting right through the spectral green vehicle that wasn't there for anyone but me. I made up my mind to have it out, and headed for the house in Bel Air.
Come in, Mr. Hartford. I've been expecting you.
Thank you.
There's no need to thank me.
Oh, well, anyway, thank heaven you're here. I thought you might still be in India.
Oh, no. I came back for my wife's death.
What? For?
I landed from the plane at the moment she went over the cliff. You see, I knew she was going.
But how could you?
I sent her to her death.
You know, she's following me. I can't get rid of her. Or the car.
I know. And you came to ask me for help.
Yes. Please help me.
You must help yourself, George. You didn't hesitate to in the beginning when it was something that didn't belong to you. Why hold back now?
What do you mean?
You'll never be rid of her as long as you live. Why don't you join her, George? You see? There she is. She's waiting for you. Join her!
I was outside the house. The door shut in my face, and parked in the driveway facing me was the green Mercedes. I went a little berserk, hurling myself into my own car, ramming her into first and driving in a scattering of gravel and dust straight through that infernal vision. I smashed into Sunset, turning left in a screech of tires, heading for Coldwater Canyon and back to the valley. But all the time, my nemesis followed me, riding up my back, tailgating me. Then, at the top of the hill, suddenly riding on air, right out over the valley, the Mercedes drew abreast of me.
Why don't you join me, lover? I'm waiting.
Join her. It's the only way.
All right! Have it your way! Here I come!
so sorry, Matt. Your poor brother.
I'm so sorry for so many things, Fran. For what he was, for what he made of himself, for the help I couldn't give him. But most of all, for calling him a plastic man.
What do you mean, darling?
Turns out he wasn't. There was a chink in his armor, whether he knew it or not. His conscience.
You mean for that woman's suicide? The one with the Mercedes?
Yes. They hadn't even had time to repair the guardrail. He went right through the same gap she did. Well, no sense agonizing about it. What's done is done. At least, she won't be haunting him anymore.
I wonder. There's quite a legend grown up about that stretch of road. On misty nights or dark ones with the moon seen fitfully through clouds, a lot of people swear they pass a Mercedes colored English green. Some say the woman was driving, some say the man. But then, that would be easy to confuse, since by now the paint is peeling, the clothing is half rotted away, and the figures themselves are little more than skin and bone. The hands that grasp the wheel, those of a skeleton. I'll be back shortly. One further note. Shortly after Fran and Matt were married, a large sum of money was given to them by an anonymous source. And at the same time, Horace stripped himself of all his possessions and gave the bulk of his fortune to the School for Psychic Research, where he had taught so long. He left for India and was never heard of again. One story has it that he sits in meditation somewhere high in the Himalayas, treated by the nearby villagers as a holy man. Perhaps so. But is it meditation or expiation? We'll never know. Our cast included Don Scardino, Joan Loring, Russell Horton, and Catherine Byers. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Lieutenant Kaufman, I was sent in here to see you.
How can I help?
A man named Tom Beckwith was murdered last night.
That's right. Do you have any information that would...
Yes, I'm responsible for his death.
What are you saying, Mr...
Wilson. Roger Wilson. I caused his death.
Are you confessing to the crime?
I suppose that's the only way to put it. I wished him.
You wished him?
Yes, Lieutenant. I wished him. I wished it with all my strength.
He was killed by 2 shots from a .38 caliber pistol. Now, did you fire them?
That's immaterial.
Mr. Wilson, you don't look well at all. Now, I'll have an officer see you to your home.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. I'm E.G. Marshall. I have the lunch all packed, and I'm ready to take you on a picnic in the woods. There's a beautiful little glade deep in the forest. Birds singing, that wonderful clean aroma of fresh growth mixed with leaf mold and last year's pine needles. The cool touch of grass to your bare feet, if you care to take your shoes off. Doesn't sound very mysterious? Doesn't frighten you? Well, stay with us. It will.
Lou, I can't stand it. Thinking about them 2 nice young folks out there, lost in the woods.
I feel bad about it too, Sarah. But I don't know what I can do.
It's raining cats and dogs out there. And it's turning downright cold. Now, we've got to do something.
I called the sheriff over at Pennebeck.
Sheriff Larkin? Do you think for 1 minute he's going to go into them woods looking for Ronnie and Peg? Or get somebody else to go?
No. Tell you the truth, I don't. Fella'd have to be out of his mind to go in them woods night like this. Any other time, for that matter.
Well, what are you going to do about it? You going to just sit there?
Reckon that's about all there is to do. One thing sure. I aim to stay out of Dutchman's woods.
Our mystery drama, Stay Out of Dutchman's Woods, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Field and Farrington and stars Paul Hecht. It is sponsored in part by True Value Hardware Stores. I'll be back shortly with Act One. I think you'll agree there's nothing more delightful than that first day of vacation. You've shucked off all your cares. Your freedom is still new and exhilarating. Your inevitable return to workaday things is too far in the future to dampen your high spirits. Of course, vacations, like other pleasant-seeming prospects, may take unpredictable turns. You just can't look more than a few seconds into the future without facing an uncertainty. Ronnie and Peg Andrews have driven all day to get to their chosen vacation spot in the Maine North Woods. But are they tired?
How about down by the Old Mill Stream? I think I can even do a pretty good tenor on part of that one. Down by the Old
Oh, Ronnie,
Mill.
I love you dearly, for better or worse, like I told the man. But if you hit one more sour note, I'm going to get out of this car and walk the rest of the way.
You know what your trouble is, Peg? You got a tin ear.
How far do you think we are from the inn?
Oh, can't be more than a few miles now. You tired?
Not really. I don't know. We've been driving through this forest for miles. So it gives me the creeps. So dark and gloomy.
The creeps? You're kidding. It's absolutely beautiful.
In a way. It looks so, I don't know, brooding.
Contrast, that's all. The sun's so bright where it gets through to the road, it makes the woods seem dark.
What are you doing?
I just want to show you. 10 steps into the woods and you'll see there's nothing gloomy about it. It's just the contrast.
I don't want to go in there, Ronnie.
Oh, well. Okay. We can come back another day. Maybe tomorrow. It really is a beautiful forest. We could bring a picnic lunch.
Well, okay. Maybe it'll look better to me tomorrow.
With you.
Oh, I love it, Ronnie. I just love it. It really looks the way a cliffside inn ought to look. Even nicer than Bill and Edna said.
Isolated, that's for sure.
Now, you'd be Mr. and Mrs. Andrews, wouldn't you?
That's right. We have reservations.
Good thing you made them, too. We might just have closed down. And a season for us.
Are we the only guests?
Only ones. My name's Lou Griffin. I'm the proprietor. Sarah.
Come in. I was just putting up a fresh pot of coffee. Figured we'd be wanting some, long trip and all. I thought I smelled coffee. Just what I need. Now, I hope you ain't disappointed in the place, Miss Andrews. Disappointed? I adore it. It's even nicer than Bill and Edna told us. Bill and Edna White. They were up here earlier in the summer. White? What? Oh, yes. They're the couple with the two young boys, huh? Ken and Eddie, yes.
Never did see two young'uns could be in so many different places at one time. I've been thinking some about seeing if I can't get hold of some hex signs to keep young'uns out next season.
I noticed the hex signs outside and even in here.
Yeah? Anything we got plenty of, it's hex signs.
Are they just for decoration, or do you really mean them to keep evil spirits away?
Oh, they're just for what you call color.
And it don't hurt to be on the safe side.
What do you mean?
Maybe there's evil spirits, maybe there ain't. Maybe they want to get in, maybe they don't. But I never heard of a hex sign doing any harm.
morning, Mr. Griffin.
Morning. Sarah, you can put the eggs on now. Lou and Sarah, what we like to be called. Friendlier that way.
Okay, we're Peg and Ronnie.
I brought your coffee out. Eggs won't be ready for a minute or so. I brought you a cup, too, Lou.
Fine, as long as these good folks don't mind me sitting down with them.
Oh, no, please do.
I'll be right out with the rest. All ready but the eggs.
How are you folks planning to spend the day?
Well, we had a discussion about that, and I won.
He wants to take a hike into the woods.
Dutchman's Woods?
Oh, is that what they're called?
I wouldn't go in there if I was you.
You wouldn't?
Folks get lost in there. Been a lot of that.
Oh, we won't get lost. I have a very good sense of direction.
But all the same, you take my advice. You stay out of Dutchman's Woods.
See, Ronnie?
Oh, that's ridiculous. We can take care of ourselves. We're not going to get lost.
Nobody aims to, of course. Folks do it, though.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if Mrs. Griffin, Sarah, would be willing to put up a picnic lunch for us.
Oh, she'll fix you up something for lunch. No trouble about that. Only thing is...
Oh, we'll be very careful.
Well, I'll just go to talk to Sarah about the lunch then.
Thanks.
But if I was you, I'd stay out of Dutchman's Woods.
Ronnie, I'm hungry and I'm tired. Some kind of bug bit me on the arm. And I want a sandwich and then I want to go home. This place gives me the creeps.
I can't understand you, Peg. We've taken hikes in the woods before. You never acted like this.
I know. I don't really understand it either. There's just something about this place. Can't explain it any better than that.
Hey, look up ahead. Hey, there's a clearing up there.
Sunlight. Oh, I didn't think I'd ever live to see it again.
Oh, don't be a nut. Maybe it's a good place to stop for lunch. Come on. Hey, look. Hey, it's like a garden, isn't it?
It's pretty, all right. Especially after all that gloom.
Hey, look, we can spread the cloth Sarah gave us on that flat rock, eh? All the comforts of home.
And then after we eat, we go home. Right back the way we came.
Yeah, except that you're pointing in the wrong direction, Peg.
I am not. We just came right out between those two bushes.
Between those two bushes. Huh. All I can say is it's a good thing you married a man who can find his way around.
Ronnie, I'm sure. I'm really just as sure as can be.
Yeah, well, don't worry about a thing. They don't call me Ron the Pathfinder for nothing. Well, come on, let's eat.
Okay. But I could have sworn.
Lou Griffin, do you mean to sit there and tell me you let them two wander off into Dutchman's Woods?
Wasn't a matter of letting them, Sarah. Dead set on it they were. He was anyhow.
Oh, if I'd known where them two was fixing to go, I never would have put up that lunch for them.
I tried to talk them out of it. She didn't much want to go in the first place. But he wouldn't budge an inch.
You could have told them the truth about that place.
And got nothing from my trouble but laughed at telling a tale like that. No, sir. Comes to talk about Dutchman's Woods. I'm on my own business.
Ronnie, will you stop and listen to me?
Oh, all right.
Ronnie, the underbrush wasn't this thick before. It didn't come this way.
Well, I have to admit, I don't remember it being quite this overgrown before. But I know we're going in the right direction. I'm very sure of that now, Peg.
You're not sure at all, are you, Ronnie?
Well, maybe I am just a little disoriented.
Lost, I think, would be the word.
Well, all right, I'm lost. If you like it better that way. Well, it's not as if we were lost in an African jungle or something with wilderness for miles around. We're in the tame woods in Maine. There's no cause to panic.
I'm not panicking, Ronnie. Let's go back, shall we? See if we can find the clearing where we had lunch.
Oh, all right.
Ronnie, I think it's over this way. I'm sure we weren't coming from that direction before.
Oh, all right. All right.
I've got to stop and catch my breath, Ronnie. We can't be far from the clearing now, can we?
No, I wouldn't think so. I believe we passed that rowan tree over there when we came this way before.
That's west, Ronnie, right into the sun.
So?
Don't you think we ought to keep walking east? I mean, the road is east of here. We know that. It doesn't really matter where we come out on the road, does it? As long as we do come out.
Oh, okay. Well, you feel rested now?
Oh, enough.
That you, Lou? It's me.
Oh, did you see anything of them?
Seen their car parked there alongside the woods.
Oh.
They're lost, all right.
Well, why didn't you keep on looking? Did you go into the woods?
Well, a few steps here and there. Not very far in.
Well, land's sakes, how do you expect to find somebody that's lost in the woods if you don't go into the woods?
I think you was aiming to get rid of me or something. Why you keep trying to run me off into them woods?
Well, them young folks is our responsibility, Lou.
Ronnie, is it late enough to start getting dark?
No, not yet. It's not quite 5 yet.
Well, then why is it getting dark?
Well, maybe it's going to rain, Peg.
Oh, Lord, that's all we need.
Well, the worst of it is, without the sun to guide us, we can't be sure we're still going east.
It's getting cold, too.
Yeah.
Ronnie?
Yeah?
I'm scared.
Oh, don't be frightened, Peg. There's really no reason to be. Sure, we're lost, and it's going to be inconvenient as hell. If it starts raining, we're going to get drenched and be damned uncomfortable, but there's nothing to be scared of.
I am scared all the same.
Oh, now, come on, let's keep moving. The underbrush has thinned out some, at least, and I'm pretty sure we're still going east. You were right about that. If we keep going on east, we can't miss the road. So, we're really not in such bad shape as we... Hey, Peg, there's a clearing up ahead. What do you want to bet it's ours? Peg? Hey, where are you? Peg?
Isn't that a clearing over there, Ronnie? Oh, it must be. It's lighter in there. Ronnie? Ronnie, don't play games with me. I'm scared enough already. Ronnie? Where are you hiding? Ronnie!
Peg! Answer me, Peg. Answer me, will you?
Ronnie?
Peg? Peg, is that you?
Over this way, Ronnie. That's right. Ronnie, over this way. Yes, that's fine. Keep on just the way you're going. There. Hello, Ronnie.
You aren't Peg.
Of course I'm not, but won't I do? Don't you think I'm as beautiful as she is?
Well, I was looking for...
Don't you, Ronnie?
Well, I think you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Sirens abound in legend and folklore, and, if I may say so without starting a controversy, they're not unheard of even in real life. Few men, no matter how virtuous, are completely siren-proof. So, if there's a siren operating deep in the Maine woods, it shouldn't surprise us too much. The question is, will she lead, or try to lead, Ronnie Andrews to his destruction? We'll investigate further when I return with Act 2. On the first day of their stay at Lou Griffin's Cliffside Inn, Ronnie and Peg Andrews decided to take a picnic lunch and go exploring Dutchman's woods. As Lou had warned them, this turned out to be a mistake. First, they lost their way, and then they became mysteriously separated. In searching for Peg, Ronnie has come upon a strange and extraordinarily beautiful woman. In fact, almost his first words to her were, "I think you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen."
Thank you.
And you must be as good as you are beautiful, so I'm sure you'll help me.
Of course.
My wife and I, Peg, my wife and I, we lost our way in the woods earlier in the day, and Well, we've been wandering around in circles, I guess, all afternoon.
People do get lost in Dutchman's woods. Didn't anybody tell you?
Oh, yeah. But, well, you see, I wanted to come anyway. It was, I don't know, it was as if the woods drew me.
I understand.
Yeah, and then somehow Peg and I got separated, and, well, now I can't find her. Do you know the woods well?
I know every tree, every stone, every flower, every path. Oh, yes. I know Dutchman's woods.
Great. Now, will you please help me find my wife?
My name's Katrina. Last names aren't important, are they? We'll just be Ronnie and Katrina.
Yeah, well, I'm very glad to know you, Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't far from here, the place where my wife and I got separated.
Ronnie and Katrina. Would you like to see my house?
House? Oh, you mean you have a house in the middle of this jungle?
A very beautiful house, yes. Come, I'll show it to you.
Oh, thanks very much. But maybe Peg and I could see it together after we found her. I just can't go wandering off with you while Peg's lost somewhere and probably looking for me right this minute.
You must be hungry. You can have dinner with me, Ronnie. And I'll give you some of my special wine.
Aren't you listening to me? My wife is lost. I can't just leave her out there. I gotta find her.
Will you please stop talking about that woman? It's very rude of you, talking to me about another woman. I won't have it.
Look, I don't think you understand. My wife and I got separated somehow in the woods.
I'm not looking for her.
Oh, well, you can't mean that you...
I've offered you my hospitality. I've said I'd give you dinner, and I've even asked you to have my wine. I'm very angry with you, Ronnie.
Please, I'm begging you. Why won't you help me?
If you wish to come with me, perhaps I'll help you find your wife later on. You'll never find her without my help, I promise you that. Well, I must be going. You're making a very stupid mistake. But if you don't know any better...
Katrina, wait.
Are you coming with me?
Oh, well... Oh, yes, all right. I'll come with you.
Ronnie! Oh, Ronnie, can't you hear me? I found the road, Ronnie. I found the car. I'm going back to the inn now for help. Try to find shelter from the rain, Ronnie. And don't.
Lou, wake up.
What's the...
Lou, it's pretty near 11 o'clock. And them two ain't back yet.
What two ain't? Oh, well, we knew they was lost.
It's still raining. It's turning cold as winter, just about. And them two lost out there.
Funny thing, she ain't back yet. Did not expect him, but you think...
If you think I'm going to let you go back to sleep again, you got another thing coming. Turn that lamp on, will you? I'm going to get up. Maybe put on a pot of fresh coffee. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah? Well, I expect a glass of Applejack would do me that more good.
Lou, all you had to do was just tell them.
Think he'd believe a tale like that? Cut up in the city? Laughed right in my face, he would have.
Well, I wish you'd told him.
Sarah, we don't even know if it's true. We know men get lost. That we do know. But we don't know why they get lost. I couldn't tell that story as gospel. Who's that?
Lou? Sarah? Oh, somebody help me.
We're coming, Peg. Now, bawling about it ain't going to do no good, Peg. Whatever it is, what happened?
I can't find him. I can't find him anywhere. Somebody has to help.
Yes, sir. Happens every time, mighty near.
We were standing right there together, and then all of a sudden he just wasn't there. He wasn't there.
You better come back in the kitchen and have a nice cup of hot coffee, Peg.
Oh, no, there's no time. We have to find Ronnie. Lou, will you help me look for him? Oh, somebody has to help me.
Yes, I'll go with you.
Would appreciate it.
What if you get lost?
Women don't. Peg found her way home all right, didn't she? And I've been in them woods before.
I just can't understand it. You know, I thought at first he was hiding from me, playing some silly kind of game. He was there, and then he wasn't. 2 seconds later.
I told him not to go into them woods. You gotta admit, I told him. Men just ain't safe in Dutchman's woods.
You see that big boulder just ahead, Ronnie?
Yeah, the one shaped sort of like a boat?
Yes. Just when you go around to the left of it, you can see the house. Take my hand.
Oh, all right. Katrina.
Yes?
We are going to look for Peg, aren't we? I mean, afterwards. After I've seen your house and had some of this wine of yours.
You can be so tiresome.
Well, I'm sorry.
Just a minute now. There.
I don't believe it.
I knew you'd be surprised. The others always have this.
Others?
Well, you don't think you're the first guest I've ever had, do you? All I meant was nobody ever expects to find a house like this out in the middle of the woods.
Gee, it isn't a house at all, is it? It's a castle.
It really is. A perfect replica of one, anyway. My husband had it built exactly like a castle in... Oh, I don't remember. Somewhere in Holland.
Your husband?
You're so jumping. He's been dead for years.
I can't figure out how we missed seeing this place from the road when we drove in yesterday.
Peg, you feel like you're up to it. Back into them woods and all.
Oh, yes. I think we ought to go right now. I mean, the longer we wait...
I think maybe we'd better take this with us.
The hex sign? What's it supposed to do?
It's a strong one, this here. It's meant to ward off witches and evil spirits and, well, just about anything else that walks the night. Well, like Lou says, it don't hurt to be on the safe side. Come, let's get out of here. If ever find that man of yours standing around here telling old wives' tales. Here you are, Ronnie. A glass of the most unusual wine you've ever tasted.
Aren't you having any?
Oh, no, not just now. Well, no, don't sip it, Ronnie. Drink it right down.
Doesn't really taste like wine after all.
You don't like my wine?
Oh, no. I didn't mean that. It's just that... Oh, yeah. Now it does. Hey, it leaves a very pleasant aftertaste.
Exactly. You can have another glass when we go in for dinner. You know.
Well, what I really ought to do is...
The thing that makes my wine so different is a special ingredient. I'm not sure you can find it anywhere at all except right here in Dutchman's Woods. It grows wild, like the grapes. All the ingredients I use to make the wine grow wild.
I have to go out later and find Peg. Can't just leave Peg wandering around out there.
Of course not. But would you like to come inside now, Ronnie?
Sure, why not?
Can you point out where it was you stopped the car and went into the woods, Peg?
I'm not sure. It all sort of looks alike.
Well, no matter. You mustn't think ill of Lou because he didn't want to come out and help you look for your husband, Peg.
Well, it did seem odd.
See, he knows I'm safe enough. It's only men that get lost in Dutchman's woods.
But that doesn't make sense.
Well, it does if you know the story. Katrina's got no interest in women.
Katrina?
She's the cause of it all, if there's any truth in the tale they tell.
When men get lost in there in the woods, they don't just disappear, do they? I mean, they're found eventually, aren't they?
Oh, they're found all right, what's left of them.
What do you mean?
Well, now, I shouldn't have said that, but the truth is, they're found dead. Now, it's going to be different with Ronnie, Peg, and you got to believe that.
Dead of what?
Oh, exposure, sometimes starvation. Whatever it is that kills people lost in the woods. Though if you ask me, there's a whole lot more to it than that. You like my house, Ronnie?
Oh, yeah. It's extraordinary, Katrina. This is the most extraordinary house I ever saw.
At first, I didn't like it. Can you believe
believe that. I thought it was too far away from everybody and everything, and I hated my husband for making me live in it.
Oh, yeah, your husband. Hey, he's dead, did you say?
Oh, yes, a long time ago.
My wife is alive. She's lost in the woods, but she's alive.
Drink your wine, Ronnie.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sleepy.
Wait until you see the banquet hall. Do you know I could seat over 100 people if I wanted to? But I like to entertain one at a time. Just one at a time.
3 is What is it? 3 is? Oh, a crowd.
Exactly. We're going to like each other, aren't we, Ronnie? Are you sleepy, Ronnie? You know, you're quite handsome. They used to call me a witch a long time ago. People believed in things more then. Oh, yes, you're very handsome. I may keep you for quite a long time. Several weeks, even. Oh, yes, that would be nice.
A bleak, rainy night in a dense forest that already has an evil reputation. A good time and place for unnatural goings-on. Well, there's a good deal going on in Dutchman's woods that seems unnatural. If you accept Webster's definition of natural, occurring in conformity with the ordinary course of nature, Webster says. The abrupt and unexplained separation of Ronnie from Peg doesn't seem to qualify as natural, according to that definition. I'll be back shortly with Act 3. A beautiful woman named Katrina has lured Ronnie Andrews into her castle-like stronghold and plied him with wine, which she herself describes as most unusual. Peg, Ronnie's wife, along with Sarah Griffin, had gone into Dutchman's woods looking for Ronnie. Peg still thinks of Ronnie as simply lost in the woods on a miserable rainy night. But Sarah obviously knows or suspects a lot more than she's telling.
You shine your flashlight round about, Peg, and I keep mine straight ahead so I can see where we're going.
All right. Ronnie?
Oh, I don't know as it'll do much good to keep on calling for him.
Sarah, what did you mean when you said somebody called Katrina was the cause of it all?
It's a long story, that one. And don't seem like a very good time to go into it right now.
I want to know.
Well, yes, I guess you would.
Sarah, tell me.
I guess I ought to, yes, now that I've gone this far. Keep on flashing your light around.
Yes, I will.
Well, it starts back a long while ago. Not much after the Revolution was over.
The American Revolution?
That's the one. Seems there was this man, Dutch trader, named Hans Groot. And he fell head over tea kettle in love with this young girl that was sashaying around New York society at the time. Her name was Katrina.
Katrina? But that was around the time of the Revolution, you said.
Just keep on shining your light around now. He must have been filthy rich, this Hans Groot. He was no spring chicken at that time, and yet Katrina agreed to marry him without so much as a maybe, and her hardly out of her teens yet. So they had a big, fancy wedding and settled down in a house he'd bought in New York.
You think if we find Ronnie, he'll already
stop worrying, honey. Well, anyway, they didn't exactly live happy ever after there in that house. Katrina was a wanton. Only word that suits her. Wanton, pure, and simple. Got so she was spending more of her time with the young blades around town than she was with her own husband. And it didn't take him long to get good and sick of it.
I can't see what all this has to do with...
Well, now you asked me to tell you, Peg.
All right. I'm sorry.
But he was still as stuck on Katrina as ever. So he got a hold of this great big wooded acreage up here in Maine. Well, mighty near all woods anyway them days. And he built such a house on it as you wouldn't believe if you was to see it. Regular castle it was. Right out there, middle of the woods. Millions of miles from nowhere. And he brought Katrina up here and put her in that house, and that was that, way he figured.
Here? You mean right here in this forest?
Dutchman's Woods, it's called. Hans Groot was the Dutchman. Trouble was, you see, the Dutchman himself couldn't spend his whole time in his castle. He still had his business affairs in New York. And even some interest overseas, they say. So he had to leave Katrina alone in that big old house now and again. And that Katrina, oh, she must have been a resourceful one. She found her men, all right. Was no stopping her.
Even shut up in the house? The castle
means of travel. But she took to roaming around the woods. You see, there was plenty of poaching went on in them days, lots of it. So Katrina'd run across a poacher hunting on her husband's property, and she'd take him home with her, and might as well have left her in New York for all the good it done Hans Groot.
Is the castle still standing?
No, not properly speaking. Anyway, Hans Groot come home and caught Katrina with one of them poachers, and he killed them both. Katrina along with the man.
And you think the same Katrina?
That's the way the story goes. If you're superstitious enough to believe it, Katrina still walks Dutchman's woods, and any man that comes her way is fair game.
Oh, God. What in the name? How did I get into a place like this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember.
You fell asleep, Ronnie.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have been more tired than I realized. I still feel sort of sluggish.
You were tired.
Hey, look, we've got to get moving. We've got to find Peg.
Peg? Peg, that's all I hear from you. My name is Katrina, not Peg. I'm not accustomed to having my guests talk about other women.
Well, we ought to go out and see if we can find Peg.
You'll only lose yourself again if you go out there.
But you promised you'd help me.
I didn't promise at all. She'll find her way home. She's probably back at the inn right now, safe and sound. She's a woman. I don't enjoy another woman's company. I don't want women here. Can't you understand that?
Are you saying that you cause people to get lost?
You aren't lost, Ronnie. You're here. Right in this room with me. There's a clearing up ahead. I don't think it's the place where we had lunch, though.
No, Peg. No, it's the ruins.
The ruin?
Yeah, the place where the old castle used to stand. Ain't much left now but rubble where the masonry fell down. Mostly overgrown with weeds and vines and the like. The old foundation's still there. You can't see it too well after dark, of course.
And you think this is where?
Yes, if there is a Katrina. And if she's dragged your young man off somewhere, I'd say this is the most likely place.
Ronnie!
Now, want my opinion, it won't do a lick of good yelling for him. Let's just go hunting through the rubble.
I feel funny, Katrina. Kind of fuzzy, yeah. Oh, it must be that wine of yours again.
It's partly the wine, I'm sure. But also partly just me. Oh, Ronnie, we're going to be very happy. Happier than you've ever been, I promise you that.
Is it raining outside? I can't tell. It looked like...
You're not listening to me.
Oh, yes, I am. You were talking about happiness.
You've never been happy, Ronnie. I mean, wildly happy. Happy with nothing to intrude. You've never been happy that way, have you, Ronnie?
Well, you're very beautiful.
It's all for you. Right now. Not forever, I don't promise that, but right now. You're my only reason for being beautiful.
Very beautiful. What was that?
We'll belong to each other. I'll be completely yours.
Listen. Somebody called me.
I have a feeling, Sarah. I have this crazy feeling that he heard me.
It's no crazier than anything else. Maybe he did.
Ronnie! Can you hear? Sarah, look. It's turning into... It's not just an old heap of... It's a castle. Sarah, can you see it? Sarah? Sarah, where are you? Oh, no, she's... Dear Lord, help me.
It was Peg calling me.
Ronnie! Get out of my house. You're not welcome here. You're an intruder. I don't allow intruders.
Peg! We're in here, Peg. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ronnie.
This way, Peg. Come toward my voice.
Stop talking to that woman. Don't come in here, you. I forbid it. Oh, Ronnie, you look everywhere. Sarah. Oh, I thought I'd never see you again. Ronnie, take your hands off that woman. Who is this?
Katrina. Her name's Katrina. She found me in the woods. I think...
You'll find out soon enough who I am, you little fool. What are you doing here?
I came here looking for my husband.
Your husband doesn't want to see you. Get out.
I'm not going to leave without him.
He doesn't want to go with you. Do you, Ronnie? You don't want to leave with her. Tell her.
You do want to come with me, don't you, Ronnie?
Well,
Ronnie, wouldn't you like another glass of wine?
I don't know. I don't...
Wine? Has he been... He doesn't drink.
No, Peg, you don't...
Can't you see he doesn't want to talk to you? Why don't you leave? How can you stay where you're not wanted?
I don't know who you are. Or what you are. Whether you're a ghost or a witch. Or maybe both. I don't know and I don't care much. You're not going to take my husband away from me.
How very brave she is. And what if I tell you I am a ghost? And I am a witch? And I can destroy you both. What if I tell you that?
First, I'd have to call you a liar. Because I've never believed in such things. And then, if it should turn out you're not a liar, I'd have to say go ahead and destroy us. Both of us, though. Not just one. Both.
A liar! I'll... Ronnie, tell her to get out of here!
Peg.
Well, Ronnie...
Katrina, I can't...
What kind of a spineless creature are you? Tell her!
Peg, I want to come with you. Yes, Peg, I want to leave here and go with you.
No! All right, you witch, ghost, harlot, whatever you are. Stop us if you think you can.
I think I'm all right now, Peg. I don't know what she did to me, but...
Stop this! You stop this, both of you. Don't you know who I am? I'm Katrina. You idiots, I can bring this castle down in a heap on top of you. Don't you know that?
It's already down in a heap. I saw it.
I'll show you. I'll show you!
Peg, here, under this table. The whole house is coming down.
I don't think he can hurt us, Ronnie. The real house probably years ago. Peg, where'd you get to? Over here, Sarah. Help us. Is that you, Peg?
Where in the world did you... Land sakes. Oh, is it...
It's Ronnie. Help me with him, will you? We've got to get him up off this wet ground. Ronnie.
Where am I? Is that you, Peg?
Yes, Ronnie. Can you stand up?
Well, I think so. I feel sort of dizzy. I don't understand what's
How'd you get
going on.
here, anyhow? We must have walked past this spot half a dozen times. What happened to him?
I'm not quite sure. He was all right just a minute ago. I was with him in the house, the castle. He was all right except for the effects of the wine. And it seemed to be wearing
Now,
off.
just hold on a minute. You know, you ain't making no kind of sense.
I'm so cold.
Oh, she's soaked to the skin. The rain stopped, thank goodness, but we'd better get him
It was
inside.
perfectly dry a minute ago. And then the house actually did just crumble around us the way she said it would. Only, of course, it wasn't real, or we'd both be... How did he get that wet?
I hope you know what you're talking about. I sure don't.
Oh, I feel stiff. I ache all over.
We got to get you home and into a nice, warm, dry bed before you catch your death.
The house fell down all around us, Sarah, just the way she said it would. Only I didn't think it could hurt us because, you see, I knew the house had already fallen down.
Well, we must have imagined the whole thing. I must have been lying there on the ground and in the ruins the whole time.
All I know is we walked past there a half dozen times, and you wasn't there. You just wasn't. So I don't see how we can say it was all imagination.
It was real, all right. While it lasted, it was real.
Well, here's the car. Now, once we get you in there with the heater turned on, you'll feel a lot better, Ronnie.
I feel a lot better already.
What in the world was that?
That was your Katrina. I wouldn't be surprised.
Katrina?
I left my hex sign back there in them ruins. Reckon if it works as well as the superstitious folks claim it works, we won't be having no more trouble with Katrina.
A ghost Katrina certainly was.
Any woman who was killed by her jealous husband in the 18th century and shows up again in 1975 must be considered a ghost. But is it really fair to call her a siren and a witch? By Ronnie's admission, one thing is certain. Whether Katrina was a siren, a ghost, a witch, or all three, Ronnie was lucky to get out of that one alive. I'll be back in a few moments. Ronnie and Peg spent the remainder of their vacation in Maine. It's a beautiful state. Why shouldn't they? But they gave Dutchman's woods a wide berth. To this day, when Ronnie Andrews sees more than 3 trees forming a clump, he crosses to the other side of the road. So between now and our next look into the nature of things, stay away from all suspicious-looking forests. We're saving you for another and quite different kind of jeopardy. Our cast included Paul Hecht, Jada Rowland, Santos Ortega, Joan Loring, and Mary Jane Higby. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.